Welcome to Dead Man Talking. Tonight's story is a Dead Man Talking exclusive story sent in by my great friend Mr. Jim Lawrence. And wow, guys and girls, this is an absolute roller coaster of a story, very tense and very scary, just the way we like it here at Dead Man Talking. As ever, if you have a story that you'd like to write and share with myself, or possibly a true encounter or sighting, of course, do get in touch and send that over to dmtforestoffear@gmail.com. Of course, please do like and share, and don't forget to hashtag Team Fear. And without further ado, let's get into tonight's story, entitled The Scariest Thing in the Woods. Let's get straight into that. My name is Jim. I work for the federal government as a forest ranger, hunter. Before you start asking what a government hunter's job is, it's to go out and kill problem animals. I don't do it because I enjoy killing or because I like to trophy hunt, but because every family out here are not rich ranchers. Some are just trying to make ends meet. I am the one the government call on to deal with the bear or big cat that threaten their livelihood. I just finished a 3-day hunt for a big cat, a huge mountain lion that weighed about 250 pounds and had more kills than a few pets and cattle. It had taken a 3-year-old child, and yes, I took pleasure in putting a .308 round through its head. My boss got a hold of me to congratulate me on the job, but to also tell me I need to take a vacation at least a few weeks, and it seems like the government doesn't like too much time on the books. I have considered taking a little time off, so I told him I would be happy to. Being one of the best at my job comes with a few perks. I have worked with the US Marshal's office enough that they actually have me listed as a reserve marshal. I have tracked men into some very unforgiving areas, so they don't hesitate to call me when they need my expertise. The second perk they give me is that they allow my partner to go with me and help, and without his help, most hunts wouldn't be possible. Oh, my partner, he's a dog, but not just any dog, but a wolf-dog mix. His name's Lou. The US kind of frowns on its breed because of the wildness and unpredictability. Lou is large. He's mixed with a very large breed of dog. He's big, fast and strong, and as quiet as a mouse. To tell you the truth, I do worry about the day that he doesn't consider me the alpha. Today I'm packing my gear to leave my boss. The head ranger for Yellowstone, Tom, comes in. "Hey bro, I hear you're going camping for your vacation." "Yeah, I'm heading down to Kentucky." "Jim, you spend like 3/4 of the year under the stars. Why don't you go lay on a beach in Maui or take a cruise? You know, something fun. You remember what fun is, right? Not brushing your teeth in lake water or squatting behind a tree. I know you don't like to leave Lou behind, but Jesus, Jim, you need a life." "I have a life, Tom, and I enjoy what I do. Besides, Lou and I may be kind of busy to lay on the beach right now." I throw Tom a news article, and as he reads through it, I hear him sigh. "What do you think this is?" he says with a look of pure shock on his face. "The conspiracy theorists say some type of cryptid or human-wolf hybrid. A dogman, if you will." "You don't believe in things like that, Jim. You've said so many times. What do you want to do? Waste time trying to prove yourself wrong?" "Of course not, Tom. The scariest thing in the forest is me," I say with a chuckle. "You're not that scary by yourself," says Tom as he eyes Lou. Lou, who was sleeping, slowly opens his eyes and pulls back a small part of his lip to show a very impressive canine. "You know animals, Tom, they don't like that. The only predator that mutilates like that is man. I'm going to be hunting a man. I'm taking my .45 and 30-30. I'm not going to be shooting for distance. I want to look this man in the eyes and give him the choice of the sheriff or me and Lou." Tom looked again at Lou, who had stood up to his full size and wagging his tail. "I would rather face Satan himself than you and that wolf of yours." The road's 15 miles long between Wyoming and Kentucky. As the miles roll by with Lou's massive head through the window of my truck, I think when he was just a puppy and how he was never supposed to be. His mother was a gift I received for finding a family's lost child, a rare and expensive dog. She broke out one night while the wolves howled their long songs, and she was missing for over a week. At last she came home, a little worse for wear, and as to find out later, she was pregnant. I always wondered who, but most likely old Psycho, the big alpha wolf, around these parts. In the spring she gave birth to one pup. I named him Loop. She never cared much for going out again, and almost as soon as Lou was eating solid food, she gave up completely and didn't live too much longer. Lou was an amazing pup, though, bigger than the huskies you see around here, and he took to tracking and hunting like he was born to do it. Sorry, I digress, as we are driving along and I'm stroking his massive head. Well, boy, I need some rest, and we will make it tomorrow. But I need to sleep some tonight. We pull over and I let Lou out almost immediately. He runs into the forest. After around 15 minutes, a deputy pulls up and asks if anything's wrong. I show him my credentials and tell him, nah, just need a little sleep. A quick warning about the area not being safe, and he's off before dark. Lou and I settle down and sleep. I wake up realising I'm not alone. Got permission to be sleeping here? I hear a rough voice ring out. I look up to see 3 men. Sorry guys, didn't know I needed permission to sleep on government land. No worries, just pay the toll and we will leave you to go back to sleep. Let's say $100? I don't think so. Why don't you leave me now before this gets out of hand? You talk big for a man all alone. Let's make it $200. I'm not alone. I got my dog with me. Don't see no dog, only you. I smile and whistle a single note. Lou steps out of the shadows and I see 3 men freeze. I stand up and Lou shakes himself off and stretches to his full size. There is an unmistakable aroma in the air as they back up the way they came and beat a hasty retreat. The next day I check into the land between the Lakes National Park. Time for the adventure to begin. We arrive later that morning. I take time to check in, study the lay of the park and have a meeting with the chief ranger. He is somewhat perplexed as to why I'm here. He tells me these murders happened over 4 years ago. How are you going to find a killer now if it's a man? Men are not that different from animals. This killer is very at home in the woods, and like you said, there has been many unexplained things happening in these woods. I believe if I burst into his backyard, and he is still around, he'll try and run me off or kill me. But we don't scare easy, do we, boy? Hey, we don't scare, no. The chief ranger looks at my £200 friend. No, I guess you don't. The deputy sheriff and ranger enter the office. I hate to interrupt you, sir, but there's been a situation close to Golden Pond on US 68. 2 criminals have escaped into the wood near Lake Kentucky. The sheriff Depp says they're very dangerous and armed, and they're mounting a search, but have asked if we can do the same from this end. Well, Chief, that's my cue to get started. If Lou and I see these men, we will tell them to give themselves up peacefully. He thanks me with a strange look on his face as Lou and I walk out. I grab my backpack and rifle out of the truck, and in a few minutes Lou and I disappear into the tree line. The very air breathes life into me. As we walk along the trail with a definite purpose in our gait, there is nothing in this world that's better than being where you want to be, doing what you want to do, with your best friend. My God, how corny. I am truly a man born out of season. This place is decent size and it's taken about 3 days to get into the deeper area. I have come across black bear and a small pack of wolves. No sign of any monster, or men though. The two are not that different to me. And it strikes me funny how man can be so benevolent one minute and monstrous the next. At least animals kill for food or protection. Man just kills each other and other animals and even the land itself. How can the smartest animal on the planet believe that destroying its own environment is a good thing? What the hell? While I was daydreaming, I almost missed the first sign that I'd seen since I started this. Lou is sniffing around the ground like no tomorrow. Lou's ears are up and he's acting a little tense. Don't worry, boy. It's just a territory mark. But from what? No wolf would give you pause. Hell, not even a full-grown polar bear would give you pause. This place has mysteries, though, and this one will show itself when the time is right. 2 more days in and it just gets stranger. I think I'm in about the middle of this place and there should be more signs of larger predators, but it's unnaturally quiet. Lou sensed it too, one way or another. I think my hunt may be coming to an end soon. Let's put down for the night, boy, I said. I set up a quick camp and start a small fire and break out some food. The night falls fast and it's unnaturally quiet. There's a smell in the air. We're not alone. Lou's ears pop up and almost immediately he disappears into the forest. This doesn't worry me. We've done it this way many times. Looks like this time I am the bait. I hear a noise and all I can do is smile and feel a little relieved. Only one animal is that clumsy, and there are two out there. Even outnumbered, if I can hear it or see it, it doesn't scare me. A few moments later, a man steps into the clearing. "Mind if I join you?" he says. "I've been lost out here for days. I've not eaten for at least 2. "Sure," I say. "Come in and be welcome. What's your name?" I think I will be the one asking questions now, as he produces a knife. "Who the hell are you? Why are you here? Are you looking for me?" "Well, you found me, and it will do you no good, because you will not be telling anyone. Now stand up." I rise to my feet, kind of silly to bring a knife to a gunfight. Or have you not seen the 45 on my hip? He doesn't seem fazed. "If you think that friend of yours behind me worries me, you're mistaken. You see, I'm not alone out here." His partner steps out of the woods with a gun. But Lou explodes out of the shadows. All anyone sees are bright yellow eyes and large white teeth as he snaps down on the man's wrist. The crunch was sickening. You know, if that man still has the hand, it will never be usable again. The first man turns white and turns and sprints into the forest. I'm on his heels. 200 yards in, he stops and he turns towards me. I see his face in utter terror as a large, dark shape hits him at incredible speed. The man has barely time to scream. I smile as I know Lou has extracted justice. Then I feel Lou's wet muzzle nuzzle my arm. A very cold feeling overshadows me as I look to where the large figure carried the man into the forest. I start to move forward, weapon drawn, but Lou's teeth snag at my jeans, not allowing me to follow. The next morning, I find what's left of the body. Damn, that thing is a messy eater. Boy, let's get out of here. I mark the area. I can't bring that body out without a sponge. My prisoner tells me they were being stalked for a couple of days, but thought it was just the deputies. I set his arm as best I could and we march out. What took 5 days to get in, we're now out in 2. The chief ranger thanks us for the help with these convicts, but asks why I have abandoned my quest. I have not abandoned it. My quarry is back there, but I'm not ready to take it on yet. You can bet I'll be back. That night I'm at the local watering hole, drinking bourbon, telling the owner my dog stays with me. I called home earlier and Tom had told me something was wrong. The local pack, Psycho's pack, had moved closer to the front of the park, and the howls were different somehow. I laughed at that, but as I left the bar that night, a loud howl split the night. A wolf howls always say the same thing. Join me in the wild. Run free, run true. I have lived near wolves most of my life. This one is different though. It seems to say, stay away from the land. It is mine. Stay away or die. I need to get back to my park. I know who I am there. But I will be back. We both have to find out just who is the scariest in the forest. I drive back as fast as I can without breaking too many laws. Another call from Tom has left me spooked. Psycho is dead. Tom found his body, but the pack, instead of accepting a new alpha, seems disorientated. This is strange. Strange behaviour for that pack. Lou is the next thing to an alpha they have. None of the other wolves would challenge Psycho. Though not young, he's still smart enough and tough as nails. We were friends for a long time. Finally, I enter Wyoming. I report immediately to Tom to get the complete story on what's happening. I ask Tom to assign me to the northwest sector of the park. He wishes me luck as I head off. I reach the station in a couple of hours. No other ranger is assigned here, but me and Lou are not alone. Lou and I both sense them as Lou lets out a long call. Gina, Psycho's mate, breaks the tree line, followed close by Princess. Yes, I name most of the wolves. I feel the tension in the air. The rest of the pack stays in the tree line. I can't put my finger on it, but something is wrong. Bad wrong. That night Lou will not come in, so I keep watch. Night vision goggles and a 308. I am rewarded early. There is something in the tree line, something big. I hear the howls, the same unusual howls I heard in Kentucky. I see more wolves break the tree line, but they are acting submissive, like towards a new alpha. Well, some of the lower members anyway. Gina and Princess are not, and Lou is acting like he's the new alpha. He keeps going to the tree line and pulling back his hackles ready to fight. Whatever it is will not break the tree line. Like it doesn't want to involve me, but wants the pack. It knows it will have to kill Lou, and it seems to know if it breaks that tree line to hurt my dog, my brother, I will kill it. It's smart, and it must be getting too old. I can't do anything about it. I've never seen this before. Well, until Kentucky. I normally can sense most animals, but this wolf is not like any that I've ever seen. It's very smart. Could it know? No. It couldn't possibly know. Can it? It only came around at night. I'm going to have to hunt it. The moon is full in 3 nights. That will give me the best advantage to find it and kill it, and some time to make the preparations I need. Today I'm getting ready for the hunt. Tom pulls up, and there is no joy in his face as he starts a strange story. It's a werewolf, Jim. It's been spotted by some campers. There is no such thing as werewolves, Tom. This is a wolf, and a damn big one for sure. But just an animal, and tonight it dies. Well, be careful, Jim. The department has already sent a message. They want you to kill it. If you can't, I don't know who can. Don't worry, bro, I got this. At least I hope so, I say under my breath. It's dusk and I stand on the porch of the ranger station, looking at the tree line. Lou by my side. He's more than ready for this hunt. That's the dog in him. And right now, I wish he were full wolf. Because if I go down, he will fight to the death. My life could end as I know it tonight, and I'm worried about my dog. Oh well, that's the man in me. What will it take? What will it take more than a high-powered rifle and a metal bullet? Or will it take more? I haven't done more in many years. Do I want to now? Will I have to now? I guess tonight we will tell the story. We will find out just who is the scariest in the woods. The moon rises. I feel the pull. I hear the song. No time to bask in it. It's time to hunt. My senses are on fire. Within minutes, Lou and I are on 100 yards into the forest. My senses are good, but tech is better. The night vision goggles I'm wearing wash everything in a cool green light. My quarry isn't the area. Could he have sensed that the full moon empowered me? Well, he can outrun me, but he can't hide from me. There are wolves all around me. Some are unsure of the situations, and others are very sure and ready to join the hunt. Between Lou and this thing's tracks are clear as day. After a few miles we are closing in. I start to wonder if the thing that gives me vitality saps it from him. Lou and I crest a hill over a small valley, just what I was looking for. I set my 308 on the rock and kneel down to wait. Moments later I am rewarded. He crested the next hill and is perfectly outlined in the moonlight. A second later, the report from my rifle awakens the sleeping forest. The shot took him in the spine exactly where I meant to place it, and he falls. I think to myself as we run to the other hill, this was too easy. When Lou and I reached the top of the hill, there was some blood, but no bipedal giant wolf. I knew it was too easy. That shot would have crippled an elephant, and the amount of blood. This thing heals fast. Lou is on edge, plus we both smell blood. He's not far. In fact, I think he's very close. At that moment he explodes from cover and hits me like a train, and my rifle flies from my hand as I roll backwards and a gash in my left shoulder. Lou is on him in a second. My God, I'd forgot what it's like to see Lou fight. I have seen him tackle full-size polar bear, but this wasn't a bear. Lou has it by the throat, and the Dogman, for lack of anything better to call it, is clawing at Lou. But his attack was perfect. It at least rendered his massive jaws useless, at least for now. I'm starting to get the feeling back in my arm, and I pull my 45, and Lou loses his purchase on the thing's neck, and is thrown about 20 feet away. He's scratched up, but he will heal. I open fire. 1, 2, 3, 5, 7, 8 rounds smash into the Dogman's chest. He staggers back, but there is no need to pull another clip. They didn't even penetrate. The Dogman raises to his full height. That thing must have been 8 feet tall or more. Massive build. I guess it's time to get down to brass tactics. I pull my blade, a heavy steel round Puri. The Dogman lets out a fierce howl and stares me straight in the eyes. I see the intelligence. My knife in hand, I embrace the situation. If this is to be my last hunt, then so be it. I release my own feral howls. I'm not small either, in the moonlight, as I stare the creature down. It's a 3-way attack. Lou has recovered and back in a fight. The creature and me. Blade works better as I slice and parry, paired with Lou's weight and sharp teeth dug into the creature's skin. Our blood mixes together on the ground. And funny, it all looks the same. Man, wolf and man-wolf. The fight goes on and on for what seemed like hours. We stand apart. Lou's blood matted fur makes him look truly the killer he is. The dogman has stopped fighting. He looks at me and lowers his eyes and lays down, presenting his belly and throat to me. But Lou starts to charge. I quickly quiet him. I walk towards the animal and slowly put my hand on his head. I stroked his fur. I notice the knife wounds and bites don't heal as fast. I never would have thought this creature would accept me as his alpha. Exhaustion claims all three of us like a pack, and we curl up together and sleep. When we wake, I find out that the dogman is smart enough to understand me on a rudimentary level. I tell him to stay away from other humans, to live free but cause no distractions with the man pack. He seems to understand me. As it goes on its way, I only hope that Yellowstone is big enough for all of us. It's a shame we had to fight and then go separate ways. What a hunting party him, Lou and I would make. Let's go home, boy. I'm hungry. I know you are too. Besides, I think I need to change my clothes and some new boots. I hear they make good boots in Kentucky. The scariest thing in the woods. Monsters. Chapter 2. Let's get straight into that. The scariest thing in the woods. Part 2. Monsters. Let's get straight into that. I have decided to wait a while before heading out again for Kentucky. I want to observe and study my newfound friend. He seems to have adopted this area, but instead of trying to control the pack, he seems to be happy being a member. He's also more dog than wolf and tends to want to hang out around me more than the rest. Of course, Lou always stays close. They seem to have accepted each other. Lou has taken to his new role as pack alpha well. I just hope I have not lost my hunting partner. I have not named our new friend yet. Nothing seems to fit. One behaviour that is strange though is that he will not rise on his back legs around me. I'm not sure if it's a dominance thing or what. He's still very big though. People get the wrong idea about wolves. They are not just big dogs. They are very large animals that have their own personality. Wolves can run around 48 inches at the shoulders. Lou is actually 50. The DM is around 60 inches when he's on all fours. Wolves are fast and have great endurance. The DM is a little faster though, not by much. This one likes to be petted. Like most dogs, he acts like he's seeking approval. I just pray I have not trained an 8 feet 600 pound bipedal wolf dog into a lap puppy. I may have also figured out the bullet thing also. Hard metal versus soft metal. My knife is titanium. A bullet is lead. Hard versus soft. The 308 round is fast and meant to penetrate. The 45 is slower and doesn't penetrate as well. I have completed a large report on this creature, but I've not shown it to my boss yet. I don't know that I ever will. I am up and moving around this morning, and I have to do my job to check on the herd population. Today, around 40 miles northwest, when I get a radio message from Tom telling me he's coming up and to hold where I am for now. The light dusting of snow on the road, and about 2 hours, Tom finally reaches the station. Tom greets me and said, "We've received the daily reports, but wanted to know about the hunt for the werewolf. The report said you had handled it, but was void of details." I tell him it wasn't a werewolf or any monster. It was just a very large wolf that had messed up front legs, that adapted to standing up on its hind legs to look around, and bothered people because of the food, much like bears. I just hope my nose doesn't grow too long with this lie. The problem is solved, and you know I take no pleasure in killing, especially wolves. Tom shakes his head and lets the topic drop. I'm glad he's not as observant of the tree line as I am, or I would have to lend him a cheap, clean pair of pants. Not to mention trying to explain the 8-foot-tall wolf watching us from the cover of the trees. Tom hands me a note. It's from an old friend. It simply says, "Jim, call me ASAP." Tom also hands me a box telling me this order came in for you. I pocket the note and unwrap the box. It holds 2 brand new titanium kukris, made heavy and sharp. Tom looks at them and then says, "What the hell are they for?" "Just a whim," I say. Tom and I chat for better than an hour, and of course Lou comes up to see Tom. Tom and Lou have never really been the best of friends, so they eye each other up. Tom leaves and I go retrieve the satellite phone and make the call. Bill Thompson answers the phone. "Hey son, how you doing?" No, he's not my father, but he has always been close. We exchange pleasantries for a bit. Then Bill gets down to the brass tacks, as I like to say. "Jim, I need your skills," he says. "We have a real problem down here in South Carolina." He then tells me he's been doing contract work for the Marines down at Camp Lejeune, and they have an animal that they don't understand. I tell him I'm kind of busy here, and I'm told the commanding officer is making the arrangements, and they're sending a C-130 for me. In other words, I can't say no, and at least there's plenty of room for Lou. I guess I'm off for another weird adventure. Flying in the biggest transport the US military has was an interesting experience, not to mention the flight crew reactions to Lou. As we descend the ramp, Bill was waiting on the tarmac. After a hearty embrace, he whisked me off to a Humvee towards the base headquarters. There I meet the Colonel and several other staff officers. The Colonel addresses as Mr. Johnson. I ask him to call me Jim, and introduce him to Lou. I will give the Colonel credit. He looks at the huge dog and nods, while most people step back. I'm told about a 4-man fire team that was on manoeuvres in the forest and somehow got separated. A massive hunt occurred, and after a few weeks, has turned up nothing. I suppose someone needs to ask the obvious. I said, is it possible that they just went over the hill? A stone-faced major said that wasn't a possibility. His son was in charge of the team, and the sergeant of a friend of a family of theirs for years. These men were a forced recon, not recruits. Something took them. What out here could even slow down an armed fire team like that? I hear the word Dogman. I start to laugh, but suddenly think better of it, because no one else is laughing. In fact, their respected faces are hard as stone. You men are serious. Yes, Mr. Johnson, we are, and we have had movement and seen signs of both Dogmen and Bigfoot. Then why am I here? I don't believe in such things. I'm a ranger, hunter, and part-time marshal. I deal in facts, gentlemen, not campfire stories. I am hoping they can't see through me, and I am still not ready to expose the truth I have come to know. We understand your scepticism, Mr. Johnson, but Mr. Thompson has assured us that if there's anyone out there that will look at this with an open mind, it's you. And since your record shows you be one of the most proficient at this task, is why we want you and your partner there to spearhead this operation. Your assignment is simple. You can find these men, then bring them home. If they're dead, let us know where to find the bodies. Your second mission is to find what did this and execute them with extreme prejudice. Do you have a problem with this, Mr. Johnson? Will you allow me tonight to consider my actions? The Colonel says yes, though reluctantly, and Bill and I walk out. As soon as we are out of earshot, I wheel on Bill. Why did you drag me into this? What do you know? How do you know? Easy, Jim, Bill says. What do you mean, what, and how do I know? Something you need to tell me, son. Bill and I find a quiet place, and I tell him everything. His mouth is open and widest I've ever seen. A real-life cryptid, a dogman. Please, Jim, I have to see it. Okay, but only you. I want to keep him as much of a secret as I can. I don't want people panicking or the government studying him. He was born free. He has a right to live free. Bill agrees, and we will get together after this thing is over, and I meet my friend. Bill says he's calling it a night and heads for his hotel. As he's leaving, I say to Bill, whatever's out there, I will only kill it if I have to. Bill nods as he walks off. Well, boy, I hope you made the right decision, but I'll cross that bridge later. I'm thirsty, boy. Let's go find a drink. There's a bar right off the camp. Lou and I walk in and sit at the bar. I get the normal looks and the normal questions and the normal response. The bartender doesn't mind. He's actually interested in Lou. We talk. Lou likes the attention, and that's the dog in him. I sip bourbon and try to relax and make up my mind about tomorrow. Get that stinking wolf out of here. This is a man's bar, and no place for your mangy animal. I'm on my second drink as I turn around to see 3 Marines, and they're not looking friendly. I say, well, if it's a man's bar, who let you in? As he pulls his fist back in a cursing fit, a unmistakable growl of a very big dog, and a row of bright white teeth and shining yellow eyes give him cause to pull up short. He's not 100% wolf, only half. but he's more than enough to turn you jarheads into dog food. The one at the back says, "Look, mister, we don't want any trouble. We just don't like wolves very much after what happened to our friends." "Bartender, a bottle, and 3 more glasses. Let's take a table, boys, and tell me what happened." I stop drinking as they get drunk. They relate the story of the episode in the woods. One says the wolves walk on 2 legs. The other 2 talk about trees moving. The howls, the screams, gunfire all around, even automatic weapons to no avail. They explain the firefights and even how the 4 Marines disappeared. The woods are full of monsters. I've had several tours of duty and been in countless fights, but I've never seen or been that afraid of anything in my life. It was scary. I see a Marine turn into a child. It was so scary. That's the scariest thing in the woods. My mind is made up. I'm in. Lou and I will leave a little sleep before the hunt. I guess tomorrow I'll find out again who is the scariest in the woods. I'm back on base early. I need a few supplies. I run into the Colonel, somewhat surprised to see him up so early. He greets me and asks if I have decided. I tell him yes. He mutters good and asks if I need anything. I tell him I'd like to get the 27.62 180 grain armor piercing full metal jacket rounds. He looks at me kind of funny. "Why do you need such rounds for?" "I don't know what's out there. You say monsters. I say men. Either way, I may need to penetrate whatever armor or hides they have." He asks me if I want an M27. I say no, my 308 will fire that round, and I'm used to it. And I have all the other gear I need. A quick stop at the armory and I'm good. I meet Bill on the way towards the forest. He asks plainly, "You want me to go with you?" I tell him not this time, but I have a question. Where did these things come from? I have been in the forest my entire life, and before Kentucky, I never knew they existed, only to find one in my own backyard in Yellowstone. It seems like in the last couple of years the sightings have become more prevalent. And you say you have tamed one. That's incredible, Jim. I never said he was tame, just not that aggressive. If it hadn't been for Lou, I wouldn't have won the fight. Shaking his head, he wishes me good luck and I head into my element. There is something about these woods. I don't have my normal surreal feelings as Lou and I continue to move deeper in. Lou's ears pick up. I heard it too, I whisper. I speak one word. "Go," and Lou jets off and peels off into the bush. I slow down. Whatever is behind me, and it's trying to no avail to be quiet. I turn on my heels and see a person in camo following me, trying to hide. I start to laugh as Lou breaks cover behind him. I thought the boy was going to fall over, all over himself, as he sprints towards me terrified. Lou easily trips him, and he lands face first in the dirt at my feet. "Who are you, kid?" He snaps to attention as he tries to inch away from Lou. I swear if that dog could laugh, he'd be rolling. "Lance Corporal King, sir," as he salutes. "What are you doing here, son?" Again, he snaps back. "Backing you up, sir." "And you were told to back me up by whom?" "No one, sir. I went on furlough, sir, but I hung around and I want to track and kill these creatures with you, sir." "Stop calling me sir, boy." He lowers his head to a submissive stance. "The men, sir, what do I call you?" "Just Jim." "I wanted to help, sir. Jim, they were my friends." "Lou and I work alone, kid." "Please, Jim, let me help. Get back to base before we get in too deep for you to get out safely." "Already too late, Jim. I saw Lane and his buddies enter the woods and they're coming after you." I laugh. "So they're after me and they are on my turf." Lou could finish them by himself. Come nightfall. "Begging your pardon, sir, but this is their turf. They know this area and they're well armed. And they're Marines, sir." I tell this kid not to worry about that. But I want the complete story now. No partial or exaggerated this time. The truth. He goes on to explain that there's an 8-man fire team. We stumbled onto a cave back there in the forest. The cave was some type of burial ground. There were skeletons there, some regular size and very large and even clawed. Gave me the shakes. The lieutenant said, "Leave this stuff and let's get clear of here." Lane said not to without a few souvenirs. He picked up what looked like a bag of gold. The lieutenant told him to drop it. Then I noticed one of the guys puts the cords into his GPS. Then we heard it first, the knocking. It sounded like something big knocking on the cave walls with a club. Lieutenant Clark told Lane, again, drop the coins and get ready to defend the area. They were the last words he ever spoke. Before Lane shot him and the sergeant and the 2 men at the mouth of the cave, he turned his rifle on me. I told him no, I'm with you guys. And so I got to live. They marked the cave on the GPS and we beat a hasty retreat. But not before Lane grabbed a lieutenant jacket and with one of the clawed hands of a skeleton, ripped it up and dripped it in his blood. As we got clear of the cave, the monsters stopped calling and knocking, and we got away. Lane told us that the monsters killed half of the team, and we returned fire, but they melted back into the forest. We send the recovery party to the far side of the forest, and we come back here later and completely loot the site. Don't worry, kid, you did the right thing. Let's find a place to hold up till dark, and then we hunt them. As I speak the words, a shot rings out. I immediately roll into a defensive crouch, but the young Marine is just standing there with a strange look, until he falls over. More shots ring out. Damn, they're good. Lou and I start to move away. I'm starting to realise we might be in for it. I have 20 rounds in a non-automatic rifle, and about 45 rounds in a 9mm, and they have at least 3 M27 assault rifles, and probably several 30-round mags. It's just a few hours till dark as we hop from tree to tree. I debate for a few moments about showing these men what real monsters in the woods look like, but think no, it's better to take these men in alive so they can confess to their crimes. There's a rise with a hollow behind it. If I can get over it, I should be able to avoid them till dark. Then Lou and I can finish this fight. As I crest the hill, I see movement behind, but as I turn, it's not one of the Marines. I don't know what it is, but it's big, hairy, and looking right at me. I forget what I'm doing for a second, and pay the prices too. 5 rounds make contact in my back. I fall down a rise into the hollow. The big thing is gone. Was it a dream? Is everything a dream? The pain pulls me back to reality. Lou is by me trying to get me up. Go boy, hide until dark. Then the blackness takes over me, and a dream of monsters. My eyes flutter open. I feel hot. Damn, I died. Always heard it was hot down here. How can I hurt so much if I'm dead? I tried to move my arms, and then my legs. Nothing. Had the bullets paralysed me? There's a large shadow over me. Water, please. I managed to croak out. All of a sudden, a hand bigger than my head very gently lifts my head to a gourd cup full of water and then trickles into my mouth. My eyes start to clear, and I see a large, hairy head over me. I spit water everywhere. I hear a rough voice say,
Herbs, no move, rest.
I start to speak, but the blackness comes back, and so do the dreams. I see Lou, and the Dogman. Now a larger Dogman, more violent than the first. They all run away from the large hairy man, all but Lou. He will not be denied. He comes to me, licks my face. I wake up to Lou licking my face. Hey boy, are you okay? That voice only deeper again.
Wolf friend.
I look up to see the largest thing I'd ever seen on 2 legs. I hear the words.
Heal, fast.
As 2 pieces of metal drop from his hand into mine. They're slugs. I'm guessing the 2 that went into my back.
Your herbs helped.
A large clawed finger touches me between my eyes.
Forest touch.
I don't understand what that means. He holds up one finger.
Go.
I'm guessing I have 1 day left to rest, and then time to leave. I wake the next day and rise to my feet. I feel pretty good, and Lou's up and wagging his tail. There's a small bowl of peaches and plums, along with some type of jerked meat. I give the meat to Lou, and he eats it fast, and I eat the plum and peach. My gear is on the floor along with my weapons. I suit up and step out into the light. I see 3, no 4, of the large creatures. I can only assume it's a Sasquatch. One is definitely female. She's caring for a younger one. The big male that I talk to moves in between us while the other one flanks me. I open my arms in a submissive state, and he nods. 1 word.
Go.
I leave the small encampment, and my mind begins to work. The burial cave. The treasures this clan has been hoarding that for years. I have to protect it, and this group. These aren't monsters. Those men are the monsters. It's time I dealt with them. I turn around and walk back into the village. The big, and when I say big, like 12 feet tall, male moves towards me. Again I act submissive. He stops and looks at me and says,
Talk.
I try to explain, hand gestures and single words, that we have to protect the burial cave and stop the men that want it. Again he only points at the rifle on my back. I know they have guns. I finally get it over that the soldiers' bodies need to be moved so that others can find them, but not in your cave. The big male grunts out.
Spirit, no rest.
I tell him yes, they will. They will be laid to rest according to my people. Then he says,
Here.
while pointing down, and he moves off again. I assume that I've been told to wait. I see the small one get a small plant from his mother. I know that plant. He pulls the leaves off and eats one of the stalks. It's rhubarb, I say. They like rhubarb. Good to know. A few minutes later, the big one is back, with about 4 more. Where did they come from? I didn't see them enter. He points at my head again.
Forest, touch, go, cave.
I nod my head. Back at the cave, they somehow communicate that the 5 bodies need to be moved. I also explain to him, leave a guard. I need to know when they come back. It takes us quite a while, but we finally find a place deep in the woods that will do as a small cave with nothing but bats. The bodies are laid out, and I say, don't worry, Marines, you will be at rest soon. The next day, I'm at the burial cave's entrance. The Bigfoot's intel is good. We know they were coming our way ahead of time. I communicate to the big guy. Let me handle, and soon all humans will be out of his hair. He points to my head and says,
Forest, touch, welcome.
They back away, and though I know they will be close, an hour later the 3 renegade Marines come out of the forest to the mouth of the cave. I whisper to Lou, get ready, boy. This should be fun. As they enter the mouth of the cave, Gentlemen, this is a US Marshal. I order you to drop your weapons and surrender now. Lane looks up. Johnson, we thought you were dead. You boys need to learn how to shoot better if you want to kill someone. Now drop your weapons, because if I have to come in there after you, you won't like it. They start to lay down a barrage of fire, but I cut loose 1 round, first taking out one of the men between the eyes, while the other 2 scramble into the cave still firing. We still outgun you, they say. But I say, well, how much food and water you got? We will make a deal with you, yells Lane. We will split this find with you 3 ways, with the gold and the other stuff in here. This place could be worth millions. No deal, no surrender. Both M27s are set to full auto fire from the cave, and it's a howl of lead. I have no choice but to duck down. Both Marines come out advancing towards me while firing, and I can't raise my head up into that fire. All at once a great roar bellows from across the valley. One Marine turns and bolts, leaving only Lane alone with me. He changes mags, and luck is with me. He fumbles with the mag. A second well-placed shot takes the rifle out of his hands. Now surrender. Lou returns later with his muzzle covered in blood. I assume the one that ran will not be walking back. With the help of our large friends, they move the Marines to the other cave. As I walk a blindfolded lane through the forest, he offers me that if I let him go, he will not say anything about the monsters. I tell him his next address is Fort Leavenworth. I'm worried though, how many people will believe him? The Chinook hovers above the canopy, lifting the bodies out. I tell the officers everything, and they take Lane into custody. He flashes me a sly smile. Are you riding back with us, Mr. Johnson? We need to harness that wolf though. We will meet you at the base in a couple of days, and I will debrief you then. As you will, sir. They board and they fly off. I walk through the piney green, peacefully for the first time. Nice here. I find a road in a small town called Herbert, where there's a farmer's market. I smile and buy all the rhubarb they have, and go back into the forest. I walk in and just drop the bag on the forest floor, and head off to Camp Lejeune. A couple of days later, I walk up to the base gate, and the sentry says, Mr. Johnson, the colonel was waiting on you, and I'm to take you straight to him. No problem, Corporal, lead on. I meet with the colonel, this time alone. No monsters, huh? I think 3 of your Marines qualified pretty well there. Yes, and Lane spilled his guts literally before he died. He's dead? How? Well, after the interrogation, he told us all when he got to the part where he killed Lieutenant Clark. Major Clark shot him. So this is over here and now, and your description will be appreciated. No worries, Colonel. I just want to get back home. That C-130 leaves in an hour. Be on it. And Mr. Johnson, if I ever see you again, it will be too soon. 30,000 feet in the air, I look over the ground and wonder, where are all these new creatures coming from? Have they always been there? Why now? I guess some are aggressive, while some just want to be left alone. What does forest touched mean? The biggest question of all is, who are the monsters? The scariest thing in the woods. Control. Chapter 3. Let's get straight into that. I've been back at my post for a couple of weeks after, let's call it a situation with those Marines. That colonel made an attempt to ruin my rep, even went as far as, you will never work with the military again. I told him that's fine by me. I didn't want to be involved in your cover-up bullshit anyway. He finished, but I'd better keep my mouth shut or I would regret it. I said don't worry as I walked out. I have now completed another complete report on the Bigfoot, another report that no one will probably see. I was glad to see the wolves are alright and that a tall friend was still hanging around and being cool. I was thankful for that. I have surmised these beings just want to be left alone to live their lives. It's a pity humans will not allow it. Bill was here. He got here as fast as he could so he could see the real live cryptid. Tony has been obliging and come out to the forest some. I asked Bill to please observe him from a distance, as I want to make sure he doesn't get used to humans. Oh, Tony, yeah. Well, I said I named the wolves and the DM kind of reminds me of an old friend. Tony is big and scary looking, but under that, he's tame as dishwater. The DM, though, is different. It's not tame, but it's far from the monster that I've been reading they are. But when I sit in the evening relaxing and discussing the chain of events, we talk about the Bigfoot tribe and how they actually might have saved my life. He does tell me they're not all like that. There is a clan in the big thicket area, and they are very aggressive. Rumour has it, they hunt humans. All of this is rumour, and I've only seen creatures that want to be left alone. Man is the only monster I've ever seen. Bill then suggests I go down and take a look. I tell him, I don't want to be that close to Louisiana. My, are you afraid of the Rougarou? Don't tell me, after all you've been through lately. You don't believe? Though if such creatures and things do exist, it would be terrifying. No real monsters live in Louisiana, just my family. You never told me you had family from there, Jim? I don't talk much about it. Many, many, many bad memories. I'm here to learn, Jim. I want to talk about it. Yes and no. Let's just say my father isn't the kind of man who will refuse to wed and carry on the bloodline of our family. He disowned me. Your mother? Or anyone else? My mother wasn't much different, though. She suggested in time I might change my mind. I also have a cousin. Last I heard, only he and my father were alive. Couldn't your cousin carry on the line? No. He's simple. Bill says, I'm sorry. Any chance to make amends? No, I say, glancing down. There's a long silence which is broken by Tony yipping and running into the tree line alone with most of the wolves. I then hear a motor coming up the road. Tom is coming up. I greet Tom and introduce him to Bill. Tom thanks me for the reports on the herd movement and the report on the wolves. I tell him it's good to get back on the job. I need some work in rest for a bit, just to get myself lost in this forest, to settle my mind. And Tom says no such luck, kid. Just got a call from HQ. They have a rogue grizzly at the Shoshone Forest. A couple of hikers were killed and 2 rangers they sent out to trap never returned. They want you in there tomorrow. And I see something else in Tom's eyes. The word is don't screw this up, Jim. People are watching you. Tom leaves a few moments later and I get my gear together. Bill apologises to me. It's my fault. I called you into that Camp Lejeune mess. I say not to worry. With this new world opened up to me, I don't know where my next path goes. Right now, though, It's time to get ready for a hunt. Let's just hope this is not the start of another unique adventure. I pull up to the ranger station at Shoshone National Forest. Lou and I get out and enter the ranger office. A young ranger asked if he could help me, as he looked up and saw Lou. He told me, "Sir, your animal needs to wait outside." I told him my name is Jim Johnson. I'm a ranger from Yellowstone, and this is Lou, and he doesn't wait anywhere but with me. "I'm here to see Bob. Is he in?" "I have heard of you, Mr. Johnson," the young man said. "Nothing good, I'm sure, then, I hear. Does anyone have anything good to say about you?" "At least not to my face." "Bob, how are you?" Bob said he was okay, and he says hello to Lou. He wags his tail. He then invites us into his office, and I take a seat. Bob tells me of this big-ass grizzly that's on the run, out there. He goes on to tell me we had 2 hikers disappear. We found the mess, no question. It was a big bear. One was torn up at the site, and then the girl was dragged off. We followed the blood trail until the brush became too dense. I then sent a track crew out to set up for him. They never returned, and there's no sign of them. Then we searched by helicopter. I have a young guy here that's a real good shot. He was in the chopper. What he said was real bad, so I knew it was you who we needed. Well, not actually you. I only requested the one with the brains in your little group," as he throws treats to Lou. I laugh and say, "You got that right. If I had any brains, I would stay where I was," and we both laugh. Bob and I need to speak to this kid. Bob goes out and tells the ranger at the desk to call David. We need to speak to him. A few minutes later, a young, I'd say 20-year-old comes into the office. "You need to see me, sir?" he asks. Bob introduces me, and David shakes my hand. Firm grip, I like that. "David, I need you to tell me exactly what happened." The story is simple. I was in the chopper. The pilot and me were searching for any sign of the missing men, and then we saw the bear. Sir, I have never seen a larger animal. This thing was 12 feet tall standing, at least 1,000 to 1,200 pounds. I break in and say, "Those are Kodiak or polar bear stats. Are you sure about the size and it being a grizzly?" "Yes, sir, I am. Hump, rounded ears. I mean, it was like it wanted to attack the helicopter." I call in, and I was given the order to shoot. I put a 30-06 round right between its arms. No effect whatsoever, and so I hit it 2 more times. It just glared at me. "What do you think, sir?" My thoughts think of Tony. Could this just be one of his type? Or what? Strange things in these times. How do we fight this big bear? It's big teeth, big claws versus expert shot, and big rifle. The rifle wins, yeah, the rifle wins. I think of hitting Tony with that round in the back. He barely slowed down. A new world, with new rules. What will I learn this time? "Jim!" Bob yells after Jim. "Sorry guys, I was just thinking. I guess it's about time to go on that bear hunt, Lou." I swear Lou's eyes glow, that bright yellow, as his tail wags. I tell Bob we will start tomorrow. Got a place for Lou and I to sleep? Bob says inside or outside. I say outside, of course. As Bob says, like I didn't see that coming. As we walk outside, a young Native American boy rushes up to me. He says something I've not heard in a long time. "Heteme honehe. Grandmother must speak to you." "What did you call me, son?" "Heteme honehe. It means he." "I know what it means, son. Who is grandmother?" "Shaman or Gitchmetu. She must speak to you before you hunt Koda." I look at Bob, who says, "Don't ask me. I didn't tell anyone you were coming." Well, I guess I have an appointment to keep before I get started. Get in the truck, kid. Over the river and through the woods to grandmother's house we go. I'm on my way to Wind River to meet with the old shaman that already knows I'm here and what my job is. I thought this was going to be a restful, easy bear hunt. Again, I guess I'm wrong. It looks like I'm in for another strange hunt. I read the book that Bill had given me about cryptids, and, like I was totally surprised to learn about these creatures. I know every place has its stories. My family is from France, and my mother told me of the stories of the fantastic beasts that our past held. I hunted this land for years. I've never seen the like. Yes, you have my thoughts, Race. You know where I come from, and you know what's out there. My thoughts end when I hear a small voice. "You don't have yellow eyes." Laughing, I say no, they're hazel. Sometimes green. Why? Why would you say that? I hear the boy say, "I thought your eyes were yellow." Again I say no, but my brother, as I nod to Lou, has yellow eyes. "He's your brother?" the boy asks. "Not literally, of course. I have raised Lou from a puppy. He's closer to me than any of my family that I can remember. So yes, we are brothers, in that sense." The boy says, "But you are your Henri." "No, young man, I am not." The boy looks at me puzzled and turns his attention to Lou. "Your brother is a good dog," the boy says. I tell him you are not his enemy. He knows this. Make no mistake though, if you were on the other end of those teeth, that's a different story. That conversation ends as we enter the small town. Now on to grandmother's place we go. I enter the door and the old woman greets me. "Welcome, Mr. Johnson. Or shall I call you Heteme Hore?" I look back. "Jim will do, grandmother. Are you sure maybe nature touched wouldn't be more your liking?" "Does it mean the same?" "Not actually, it's more a general term. You have the blessing of the forest, my child. You are under the eyes of Gitch Matu. That is not why you are here though. You are here to slay Koda. I don't need to tell you your history. This you know, and you will deal with it in your own time. Now is the time to hear what you must do to slay the demon. Your steel will not cut him, and your bullets will not hurt him. There is only one way to kill Koda. First, you must know, he is not a normal bear. He has embraced the darkness of Coyote. He wishes to make the white man pay for the land that we lost many years ago. He will kill all that he sees until he is stopped. I pray that you can stop him and give him rest. Grandmother, my Cheyenne is not real good, but doesn't Koda mean bear? Then you talk like it's a man, not an animal." "It's not an animal, my child. The bear is the skin he wears. His mind and his actions are those of my son's son, young Koda. To lay him to rest you find the skin he wears, while he does not wear it. Then you must burn it, and with this. It is sage, and I will drive the spirits out with it, and release the man form from his curse. And then you will have to kill the man, or he will take another bear skin. I also give this to you. This amulet is blessed, my Gitchimetu. It will at least give him pause if you find yourself within his mighty jaws. Go now, and my Kitcheners watch over you." I leave with the amulet. Well, boy, I guess the first thing to do is to find the bear, and then try to kill it. Back at the station, I sling my hammock and rest for the night. I dream again of the things I've seen, and again I'm about to find out just what is the scariest thing in the woods. We enter the woods at dawn. This is such a beautiful country. Lou and I walk along at peace, at least until we find the area where the hike has disappeared. I examine the briars and find that something bulldozed through it, blood and bits of torn clothing. I followed the carnage to the clearing the rangers were going to place the trap. They had airlifted the body out, but it seems they have left the trap, a standard bear trap no less. I keep following the trail till nightfall. Lou and I decide to bed down for the night. Not knowing this area that well, and my quarry may not be that far away, we make it a cold camp, dried meat and fruit, and I find a good cover place, and we nod off to sleep. And the dream comes. In the dream, I awake starving, so hungry. There is a doe in a field, and I give chase. I yell for Lou to come on. The doe isn't fleeing, and then I notice I'm all alone. "Lou, where are you? Lou boy, where are you?" I yell. Moments later, I awake to Lou licking my face. I'm in a cold sweat. I say, "Come on, boy. Let's get this bear and get the hell out of here. I think it's this place. It had a bad spirit." We keep on following the tracks and signs. Today is not yesterday, though. There's no birds singing, no small animals around. Lou is tense, and so am I. I can feel this in my bones. Something is watching us. It knows we're here. Most of the day we trek through these woods. It's almost dusk and we come to a large clearing next to a small mountain. With a waterfall, pond and a stream, it must be a tributary to the Wind River. The air gets real still, and a huge brown bear, no grizzly, steps from behind a waterfall that must be hiding in his cave. As he stands up, he is easily the largest bear that I've ever seen. He then speaks out. "I am Gitch Koda. Have you come to serve me?" "No, we have come to stop you." I yell out, unslinging my rifle. I steal those 7.62s and plant 2 in his chest. To no avail. Foolish human. Weapons of man cannot harm a god. You are hardly a god. As I try another round to make sure. Again, no effect. Just like with the Dogman, I guess we have to do this the hard way. I pull out my turquoise, and Lou has circled around him and attacks from behind. We both rush him. We have to dodge those massive paws, or we're dead. Lou is biting and clawing, but can't seem to find purchase. My luck is no better. I do a quick dodge, but my blade, for all the good they're doing, they might as well be willow witches. A claw catches me and sends me reeling, and there is blood flowing from my side. This fight will end badly. Lou, get away from him! Lou, boy! Lou starts to pull back. Another lucky swing catches him in the shoulder. I see the blood spray and he's thrown several feet back into the bushes. I scream, no! As I run into the place he's fell. I can't see him. I have to see if my brother is okay. Foolishly I sprint, but I am intercepted and find myself in a massive bear hug. Now, little hunter, you will die. You will make a tasty dinner, and your pet Phil will be my dessert. I feel myself lose control. I let out my own feral howl. I feel my muscles starting to tighten. I snarl, but not any snarl. A violent, feral, terrible snarl. But the bear is strong and caught in his arms. I feel myself go weak and then limp. But then he stops. I hear him say, "You are protected. I may not kill you this time." My mind goes in and out of consciousness, and I hear him say again, "Grandmother gave you that amulet. I may not kill you, but if you die, not by my hands, then I am free of guilt." I remember thinking I could hear the stream. I have lost a lot of blood. Why am I still bleeding? Lou, where are you, boy? Again, the blackness surrounds me, and again I dream of chasing that doe. Am I awake, or am I? I'm so hungry. I smell the doe in my mouth waters. Lou, we have to catch that doe. Lou! Lou! Where's Lou? Lou is gone. No, not my brother. Not my brother. The doe comes to me. I see the sorrowful look in her eyes. I smell the food. That's not venison. That's... Wake up, warrior, I hear. You need to eat. My eyes open. I see the old lady. What? How did I get here? She soon spoons some stew into my mouth. Shh, you must eat. The taste, that's not venison. That's mutton. God, I hate mutton. I smell the strong smell of sage in the room, but not enough to overshadow the mutton. I ask the old woman, is the sage to keep the evil away? She says partly, but mostly to keep you in control. I say, I am in control. What do you mean? Don't worry. And then she says, your wolf didn't return. I know, I tell her. I'm going to make him pay dearly for that. She checks my bandages and says, at least you have started to heal. If you had not been fast healing, you wouldn't have survived. Without the herbs that I used, you might not have got there anyway. Thank you, grandmother, if not for no other reason than to take my vengeance for my brother. I told you your weapons wouldn't harm him. You must take the skin, when he's not wearing it, and burn it with the sage. I know. But I had to find the area where I think it is at first, and I think I do. Though it cost Lou his life. Shh, rest. Though your body is knitted back together, it's still raw and sore, she says as she leaves me to my thoughts. How long till the full moon? Should I leave and bring Tony back with me? No, he's not ready, and I don't want another death on my hands from a creature that trusts me. And I clothe myself, no weapons. All must be back there, where Lou's body is. When I walk out, I feel the breeze. I see a lone dog in a nearby field. Beautiful animal, tasty animal. No, I am in control. The young boy that brought me here, in the first place, runs up to me. Hatame Argente. Koda, come! I look for the great bear, the skinwalker, but all I see is a man walking towards me with a purpose. Feeling better, hunter. I look at him and feign my injury to be more than it is. So, I take it a little man like you becomes a huge bear. I have learned the power of the gods. Coyote himself showed me this. I came here to tell you your life I will not spare it again. Your bones will rest beside your mongrel. Control is out of the window. I rush him and hit him as hard as I can, but he flies back about 5 feet. Get up, I say. I am nowhere near finished with you. He rolls to his feet and produces a large knife. It's one of my kukris. He doesn't have the fighting prowess in his human form as he does in bear, but is still very strong. I hit again for good measure and then place a kick up the side of his head. Pity you can use the knife like you use your claws. I am going to beat you to death. You're not going to wear that hide again. He laughs through the blood-stained teeth. No matter how much you beat on me, by nightfall I will be back and healing and heading out to kill you again. I hit him again and again, and he still laughs, and then the unexpected happens. A howl splits the battle, and it's long and powerful, and I recognize it immediately as a large smile appears upon my face. I hit Coda again, and look back to see my Lou, my brother, break from the tree line. Lou is dragging something. What the hell? It looks like a bearskin. I hear Coda gasp and try to get around me to Lou to retrieve his magic pelts. Instead, he catches my foot in his gut. The old lady comes from her house to me and she yells, "Bring it to me! Bring it to me!" Lou, take it to the old lady. He drags the skin to her immediately. She brings out a brand from her fireplace and sets it on fire and starts to chant and throw sage on it. Coda again tries to slip by me, and again I knock him on his ass, though this time with different results. He's bleeding. I pick him up and knock him down again, and this time he stays there whimpering as the fur fully ignites and is reduced to ash. I pick up Coda and drive my fist into his gut. You are under arrest for crimes against man and against nature. I drop the whimpering mess as the old woman says, "Warrior, you must kill him." I look at the mess on the ground. I'm in control. I can't kill a helpless person, no matter what he has done. She rushes forward with a knife in hand. I easily stop her. We can't. He will be in prison many years. The white man will not punish what they don't understand. I know she's right. I hear a snarl, and almost before I can turn around, Lou charges, and one bites on his throat. Or what was his throat is gone as he bleeds out on the ground. I guess Lou has taken his own vengeance. At least I maintained control. What I had thought would be an easy hunt, it turned out to be a nightmare. I had thought I'd lost Lou, and that would have been a price too high to have paid. I am back at the park HQ. I give Bob the teeth of the bear and let him know there is no more giant grizzly out there. He accepts the proof and wires in that the matter is closed. The night before Lou and I head home, Lou and I visit the local bar. Bob and neat, I tell the barkeep. And trust me, I'm in no mood to have to keep explaining myself. He serves me my drink, and there is snow falling when a woman walks into the bar. She is strikingly beautiful, easily the most beautiful Native American woman I'd ever seen, if not the beautiful I'd ever seen, period. She walks to me, giving me a long look, and she turns. And though before she can speak, this large man says, "Hey you squaw, you know you can't drink in here, or come over and sit with me." I put my drink down, leave her alone, or this gets messy. "Do not concern yourself, warrior, for even prey can defend itself." She turns to the man, and almost faster than my eyes can watch it, she kicks the man in the face, hard enough that I hear the jaw snap. She walks back to me and sweetly asks, "May I sit down?" She sits next to me, rubbing Lou's massive head, saying, "You're a sweet boy and pretty puppy." I introduce myself as Jim Johnson. She smiles, and that makes the air even warmer, and says, "I am Cool Dawn. Well, just Dawn. I would hardly consider you prey." She says then you would be the first man in history that doesn't consider a woman prey, and the first Hoenche that doesn't consider a Vatsova not as prey. "I come to talk with you, warrior, and tell you that you must be on guard. Gitchamentus has chosen you as his champion, and you have two great evils to deal with. One you will know, one you do not. One from the north and the other from the south. I will help you when I can, but my service is limited. Goodbye, warrior. I will see you again." She rises and pets Lou one more time, and then walks out the bar. I sit there sipping my drink and wondering how much longer can I do this before I lose control. The scariest thing in the woods. Tony. Let's get straight into that. I'm exhausted after the latest adventure, and Lou's not in good shape either. I'd take him to a vet I've used before. My wounds have all but healed, though I am still sore. But Lou's haven't. His shoulder is pretty raw after his fight. The vet says that he is pretty much out of commission, for a few weeks anyway. He cleans and dresses the wound, and then asks me how it happened. I tell the doctor we were hunting a problem bear, and Lou was swatted pretty good. The doc says he will be fine, he's healing good, but doesn't recommend fighting any bears in the near future. Then the doctor says, in all seriousness, he's to be just a dog for at least a month, and not a hunter. I agree, and we're back on our way. Tommy's waiting on me as I head into Ranger HQ. You did a good job, Jim. I ask if the depth is still on my arse. No, not really, but you might want to stay clear of any green uniforms for a bit. I laugh, and you've got a deal there. I'm sorry to hear about Lou being laid up. Oh boy, here comes the but. Yeah, sorry Jim, but we got a call on a problem cat up close to Bosman. Man, that last cat hunt I was on lasted 3 days, and that was a big son of a bitch too. I think to myself, and with the way my luck's been going, what the hell will I run into this time? Possibly a dragon or something? I snap back to this world. Shouldn't be too much of a problem, boss. I kinda hate going alone though. I'm used to having Lou beside me, all the time. Tom shakes his head in an understanding way and wishes me good luck. I head back to my station, and it's on the way anyway. I let Lou out of the truck. The Princess comes out to him. Lou looks at me and heads into the tree cover. Get well quick, boy. You know I need you. Tony comes out to see me. This is still strange. I pack my gear and clean my rifle, and look at the map as to where I'm going and where to start my hunt. I load up my gear and weapons and get ready to pull out. Tony looks at me with a cocked head. It reminds me of a Labrador that I used to have. Damn, you're more dog than wolf, boy. Oh my god, he's expecting to take Lou's place. He wants to go. How on earth am I going to take him with me? I'm not worried about him and the big cat. He can make short work of one by himself. But how will I manage this? He really doesn't look like a big dog when on all fours. He obeys well. Ah, well, I'm too far into the weird and paranormal and abnormal to do anything now. Okay, get in the back. I have a camper on top of my truck. I open the window into the cab as he sticks his mammoth head through it, and I thought Lou had a big head. Tomorrow is the 1st of October, and the road is covered well in snow as we drive up 191 towards Bosman, Montana. You have to mind me, boy. No sounds, like I was expecting an answer. I need rest, and I'm not getting it. The different thing about this hunt, though, is I'm taking my problem with me. I should have brought along a good supply of aspirin. I think I'm going to need it. I think of the girl that I met, Dawn, and the words she told me. The evil is coming and I must deal with it. And I will. I need all my allies though. I guess it's about time to see how well Tony can pick up hunting, tracking, and most of all learning to work with me. At least there's one thing I'm sure of. If anyone sees him there, will be no question of just what the scariest thing is in the woods. We arrive in Bosman around 4 p.m. It's lightly snowing. I head to the Martin farm. I find out this cat has taken 3 calves. Bad for the owner, especially since he only produces about 4 calves in a year. To Mr. Martin, this is a serious financial burden. He shows me the tracks. I have told Tony to lay down and wait quietly in the back of the truck. I examine the tracks. Cougar, all right. I'm guessing about 150 pounds. He's young, most likely. That's why he's messing with the calves. Then I tell Mr. Martin I will kill it within a couple of days. The older man thanks me and asks if I will take supper with him and his wife. I graciously decline and back my truck up to the wood line where I saw the tracks into the forest. No one around, I let Tony out and we disappear into the woods. I tell Tony to stay by me. We find a clearing about a mile or 2 in and I think it's time to rest. We're still on the track, but it may be dark to see them much later. Tony is untried in sniffing out prey at night. I know he can do it, but if I let him go, I know I can't keep up with him. Best to hit this up in the morning. I sling my hammock. I tell Tony don't go far. God, I hope he can understand me. He actually curls up underneath me, close to the Apache fire pit I made, and the tarp over my hammock. Around midnight, Tony wakes me up. He's standing at his full height, eyes glowing, teeth bared. I don't know about anyone else, but when you get awoken like that, you don't feel sure of yourself. I gather my weapons. There is another fire in the distance. Let's check it out, boy. We approach the fire, and I hear chanting. It's a small clearing. A group of people have built a bonfire. Nothing wrong with that, boy, but I keep looking. These men are chanting something. I'm curious. I tell Tony to stay as I walk into the clearing. As I've noticed men stop chanting, these guys are wearing robes. Now, what have I stepped into? The men approach me. There's 13 of them. I don't see any weapons, but I'm on guard anyway. The apparent leader says, "What are you doing here?" "Well, I was sleeping until you woke me up with that chanting." "We saw no fire. You sure you weren't following us?" Another man says. "Gentlemen," and I use the term loosely, I say under my breath, in case you haven't noticed, I'm wearing a ranger uniform, and this is Yellowstone. I'm on patrol with my partner. I noticed you gathering and thought I'd better check it out. Now back to my question. What are you doing here? "Just a little gathering of our club. You know, commune with nature like," the leader says. I tell him communing with nature doesn't normally mean a huge bonfire in a forest and chanting in robes. Now tell me the truth, or I'm going to run you all in as a fire hazard to the woods. They look at each other, and one says, "We're trying to summon something and you interrupted us." "What the hell do you mean summon? Like a demon or something?" I say. One man says, "No, just a goat man." "Why the hell would you want to summon a satyr?" "No, a goat man," one protests. I put my face in my palms. That's what a goat man is. It's a demonic beast, now as a satyr. The leader breaks in. "Yes, we need it to bring us luck, prosperity, to help us. Well, back in the day, a bunch of you cultists down in Texas were going to summon a goat man. It was in a little town, I believe Denton. Anyway, the rumour was they succeeded in summoning the creature, and the only thing they got for it is dead. They still say the creature haunts the woods in that area, and has even attacked people. So, are you absolutely sure you want to do this? Do you even know what one looks like?" "Sure," one of the men says. "Horns, very tall and glowing yellow eyes." I catch something out the corner of my eyes. "Ranger, didn't you say you had a partner?" I nod. "Yes." "Why doesn't he come out? I guess he's shy." The movement caught was one of the men trying, though poorly, to get behind me with a big stick. I shout, "Tony!" and he steps from behind a tree, still in the shadows, standing at his full height, glowing yellow eyes, and lets out a feral growl that even gives me a slight quiver. Everyone breaks and turns tail and runs for it, screaming, "It's a goat man! It's a goat man! Run for your lives!" Tony doesn't come out any further. He doesn't need to. The clearing clears in seconds and I can't control myself. I literally roll on the ground laughing. I can't remember the time I saw something so funny. Tony lets out a loud, long howl and come over to make sure I'm okay. "Good boy," as I rub his head. "You may not be Lou boy, but you're great to have around." We go back to our camp and back to sleep. I sleep the next few hours very peacefully, knowing exactly who the scariest thing in the woods is. We're back on the trail at first light. I swear a Boy Scout could follow these tracks. People don't realise how far a cougar can range. My thoughts go to those men last night. How can man be so stupid as to try and summon something so pure evil? For years now, I have denied things like this exist, but I know the supernatural does exist. I admit I didn't know about the Bigfoot tribes or the Dogmen. These don't seem supernatural to me. Amazing, yes, but only creatures, and differently, not evil. I see how if someone saw Tony here, they would be afraid. Even more so if he went savage on them. I have seen wolves get mad, and for their territory, it gets taken, and that's a frightening sight. But Tony is 10 times worse, and that Bigfoot down in North Carolina. But they seem peaceful, only wanting to be left alone. I'm going to have to go back to Kentucky soon. What I saw down there had no intent of being friendly. It didn't bother Lou and I. No, we were not a threat. Or Was it unsure of our strength? Could it sense that I am a forest touched? I smile at the word. Nice word for just a common... What is that? I see Tony pull up. Scat. The scat of a big cat, to be exact. I check it out, and it's still fresh. This thing is close. Easy, boy. I think we're close to this kitty cat. With any luck, he's already treed himself. I scan the trees. No luck. And then I hear the scream. Sounds like a woman in the distance, in distress. But it's the cat. He's not far. But he knows we're in his territory. He's not going to fight, though. Not with Tony out here, anyway. This cat may be young, but it's smart. It hasn't gone to tree. It's actually leading us around in a circle. It's afternoon already, and I would have thought we would have treed it easily by now. No matter what, we'll not stop him. He will get tired long before Tony and I do. Time is going by and it's mid-afternoon and we still haven't laid eyes on it. If I didn't have to keep my eyes on Tony, this wouldn't be so hard. We've got to finish this before dark. Come on, cat, go to tree. The sun is starting to set, and I curse my luck when it changes. After rounding one more corner, a tired mountain lion is resting on a rock. We got him, boy, as I unsling my rifle. 30 more seconds, and it would have been over, but not today, as Tony gives off a howl and charges the cat, and all hell breaks loose. Think of every cartoon you've ever seen where a dog is chasing a cat, and that's what we have here. Tony is faster, but the cat is more agile. I am doing everything in my power trying the best to keep up and shouting for Tony to stop, and he's not listening to me. He's dead set on catching the cat. Darkness has now fallen, and I'm trying to figure out which way they went. I hear the sounds, and no, he hasn't caught the thing yet. Something I didn't think of. Tony can climb. Cat goes up, Tony goes up. Cat jumps down, so does the Dogman. I need a shot of bourbon. I head off in hope of the right direction, and I see a campfire off in the distance, and those two are heading right for it. The lion runs right into the middle of those men and wheels to the face of Tony. Then I see who is there. It's those fools, and they're trying to summon a goatman again. I cannot help but laugh, and they scatter like a flock of quail, screaming and begging for God to save them, vowing vows to stop playing with the stuff they don't understand. I look to the leader, and he's passed out by the fire. In seconds, he's the only one in the clearing except for the cat, Tony, and a lot of crap that came from under robes and down pant legs. I start to steady my rifle to the end of the cat when it leaps at Tony. Tony easily catches the cat in his massive jaws, and with one bone-crunching snap, the hunt is over. I skin out the great cat as fast as possible. Tony devours the meats and organs. Wow! I've never seen a wolf or bear eat like that. The leader of the cult group wakes up slowly, and Tony is already hiding in the tree line. What happened here? He stammers. Big cat. It ran in here and I shot it. No! It was a monster! A goatman! I saw it! How are you going to control a creature like that if you shit your breeches and pass out like a little girl? You're in the wrong occupation, son. That night I knock on a farmer's door and hand him the skin. I tell him maybe this will help recoup some of his loss. He offers me a bed for the night and I politely refuse and say I'm heading home. I'm a little tired after a run through the forest. I'm not lying. I took a picture for proof to Tom with a .308 round in the head so as not to raise any questions. What I want to do is get drunk, but that will have to wait till I get home. Let's go home, boy. And we start back. We are driving through the forest and it steps into my lights. What the as I slam on the brakes and stare. Standing just off the road is a large something. I stop and put on my night vision goggles. It's 7 feet tall with curled horns, cloven hooves, and carrying an axe. A goatman, I say. That son of a bitch must have succeeded in summoning one. I pull one of my 7.62 AP mags and have left grab my rifle and step out. He looks at me and twists his head. It roars a challenge as it lifts the axe and starts to advance. I put a round in its chest, a surprised look upon its face as a round penetrates through, but not very deeply. It brushes off whatever passes for blood in its race, and the next one I place is in its skull. This one doesn't seem to have any effect. I quickly place the third one in his chest, and again it seems to have hurt him, but still he advances. I remember something I once read about this creature, and I fired a fourth round into the fur, covering his genitals. This knocks him to the ground, but he gets up again. He leaps over my truck, and my only course is to drop my rifle and pull my kukris, but barely ducking a swinging blade. I slice with my blade, and I had more luck against a steel plate. Again, he swings. It becomes a dance. I have no doubt in my mind what that axe will do to me if it connects. I duck and roll, attack when I can. I think about how supernatural creatures can be here. Is this the evil from the north I'm supposed to face? Exhaustion is quickly claiming my body. I know I can't keep this up for much longer. And then it happens. I tripped. The goatman's standing above me. I hear a voice in my head so loud it hurts.
I was only going to send you to hell. But you hurt me, human. So now I will have my way with you. And all of hell will know, not that you die at my hands, but also that I made you my bit.
A loud crash breaks his mind in my voice. As I look up to see Tony had just torn the top off of my topper in my truck, and he was leaping at the goatman with all of his feral fury. All 8 foot and 600 pounds of Tony's form hits the goatman like a freight train. I've been on the receiving end of one of those charges. I know they hurt. Tony has got him locked up. His teeth and claws don't seem to be penetrating, but his jaw strength alone has him completely bound up, and connecting with those clawed hands and beating that thing down. I snap out of it. I have to help Tony, but with what weapon? What do I use? I think the axe that the goatman put down. His axe is to rape me. My night vision doesn't pick up a trace of the axe, and the goatman pushes Tony away and then rams him with his head backwards into my truck. Damn! That's going to leave a dent. I only have 2 payments left. I turn a light on my glasses, just in time to see Tony leap on him again. This time, Tony's weight brings him to the ground. Tony's jaw snaps on the thing's throat. It's not killing him, but at least it weighs him down. Finally, the axe, I find it. I pick it up. It's heavy, but my strength is more than enough to handle it. The goatman has pushed Tony back to his feet, and the two crash into each other once more. I look at the head of the axe. It's not steel. It's cold forged iron. I remember now as I grab the axe and swing it with all my might, as the goatman's attention is focused on Tony. I catch him solid in the back of his knees, and they buckle. I hear a scream of anguish in my mind, and I quickly swing again, this time into the head. He lay dead at my feet. Tony gave out a long victory howl as I watch the body dissolve. I look at my truck. The topper is completely destroyed, and the back quarter panel is pushed in. But I think it will at least get us home. Let's go, boy, before something else happens. The rest of the drive home is uneventful, thankfully, though I could swear I saw a deer by the road a mile or so from the station. It's 2 a.m. I walk into an empty station. Oh, I'm so glad no one is assigned here but me, as I fall into bed. I fall straight to sleep, but the dream returns about that dough. I'm so hungry. I dream of food. I awake starving, just like the dream, and smell the most wonderful smell of cooking food. As I get up, I notice I'm almost naked. I fell into bed in uniform. Where are my clothes? Am I still dreaming? Please let that food I smell be real. I am hungry. I slip on a pair of pants that's been laid out for me. I have the feeling I'm not alone. Where's Lou? And Tony? Surely Tony can't cook. I walk into a small kitchen the station has and see the long hair of a Native American girl. She's cooking something and Lou is right next to her, happily accepting bits of what she's cooking. No warrior you are, not dreaming, I hear her say. I know that voice. Dawn, what are you doing here? I told you, you would see me again. Now sit down, you need to eat. The meal is good though, it's mostly vegetables, some meat though. You're a very good cook. Thank you. You won a great battle days ago. 3 days. Have I been asleep that long? Yes. Don't worry about your job. I sent in the reports. How did you know what to do? Ah, never mind. You would think I would be used to the strange things by now. Tony come loping up and into the station, begging Dawn for a treat. Strange things indeed. I have eaten, showered, and put on a new uniform, and we're sitting outside with Lou and Tony. You have some interesting pets, Mr. Johnson, Dawn says. They're not pets, they're my friends. We look after each other. And she smiles. That goatman or satyr, was it the evil to the north that you spoke of? Oh no, it's not. But we'll be here soon. And it will be worse. I am sorely afraid you and your allies are not the scariest thing in the woods. The Scariest Thing in the Woods. Chapter 5. Alpha. Let's get straight into that. Can't remember the time I felt this content. Oh yeah, it was before that episode in Kentucky. Before I had to come to get to grips with this world. Before I had to come to grips with who or what I am. It's nice to have Dawn around. She walks in the forest beside me, and Lou. Tony is with us, but has developed a flanking position to our right. He's smart, and he learns fast. I marvel at the way Dawn moves through the forest, with a natural grace, like she was born to be here. She has stayed with me these past few days. I offered her a bed in the station, but she preferred the woods, like me. She has so much energy, and an uncanny grace, almost like a deer. Good Lord. Am I that stupid? No. No wonder she smells so sweet. Like prey. She is a dear woman. An elder Cheyenne spirit, I say to Lou, who just gives me a superior look. I guess Bob was right. You are the smart one in this group. Lou cocks his head to the left. Watch it, dog. Remember, you can be replaced. Lou cocks his head back to the right. Smart-ass wolf. Come on. We need to catch up. That afternoon, we talk of what will transpire soon. She tells me, you must continue to gather your resources. Time grows short, and you have the problems to overcome. Your strongest companion must stay in the shadows, while your most loyal companion is your heart and soul, and your most intelligent companion, and is obsessed with things that should not be known. Your control will be tested, as will your heart. I am leaving tonight. I must go and speak to the Chiakitanka to see if I can enlist his aid for this fight. Goodbye for now, Hetemi Honohe. She walks towards the forest, and she disappears behind a clump of bushes. And that doe, I have seen so many times, walks out on the other side and bolts off. I simply say, until we meet again. It's late October now, and the snows have started early. I think to myself I have unfinished business. Before I can move forward, I have to tie up the loose ends. Lou, his ears perk up. Are you ready to head back to Kentucky? I swear that wolf is smiling at me. You want to go back to Kentucky, yeah? Whoa! What for, eh? What for? I have unfinished business there. So, can I get the time off? Begrudgingly, Tom says yes. Something is down there, isn't it? I tell Tom yes. And that I don't know what it is. Tell him it moves through the woods easily. It's a little bigger than Lou. Tom, if there are such things as these cryptids, I think a US Forest Ranger should be the one to find it. And, if it has to be put down, that's my job. Tom can't find a reason that my argument isn't valid. I will have to figure out how to turn it around though, once I find this thing. I think of that night. Was it just more interested in those convicts than me? Did it sense something different or even kindred in Lou and myself? It slaughtered that one and left the other in my custody. It could have easily attacked us that night, unprepared as we were. Could have been beaten, or we would have joined the ones it had killed. We'll get out of here. One before I change my mind. And Jim, good luck. I walk out, and Tom sits at his desk, thinking, should I have let him go? What does he know, but he's not telling me? If I were younger, nah, I'd still be scared. Jim's not afraid though, with his skill and his rapport with that wolf. Hell, all wolves. Jim can be pretty scary, but is he the scariest thing out there? I'm driving quickly. I'm not stopping this time, nor am I going to the LBL Ranger HQ. I'm driving down US 68, heading straight to the ruins of Golden Pond. This is where those convicts escaped and got into the forest. The one that survived told me they were staked out for about 2 days by that beast, so Lou and I are going to start that way. I have more purpose in me this time. I believe in this thing, and I'm going to find it. And if it doesn't submit, or at least stand down, it dies. I don't know if I can kill it or not, but I definitely will try. I'm getting close to Golden Pond, and the city was depopulated in 1948 to make open for this forest. What I wouldn't give to talk to the people that lived there, just to see if that really was the reason they chose to move. Lou and I pull over, and I get out. Let's start looking for a path, eh boy? When all of a sudden we hear a shot, followed by a small explosion. We automatically go for cover, but we're not the targets. We move cautiously around the corner to see a middle-aged man with a small targeting range set up. I observed for a few minutes. He was working on bullets, it looks like. He was dropping some liquid into hollow points, then he seals it with wax. The test fire causes an explosion. I have to check this out, and I call out, "Excuse me, sir." SIR. He turns and looks at me, weapon at the ready. "I mean you no harm, sir. I heard you shooting and wanted to see what you were up to. I'm not wearing my uniform." I raise my arms and step out from my cover, and he lowers his weapon, at least till Lou steps out with me. He screams, "Dogman!" and again raises his handgun. I shout, "No, no, it's just my dog." He lowers his weapon as we advance. "Mighty big dog you got there, son. I could swear that's a wolf." "Yeah, he's part wolf, sir." "And we are here to hunt what? These woods aren't safe anyway, without people running around out there shooting up the forest and getting eaten." "I don't plan on doing it either, sir. I've hunted this game before and I know how dangerous it is." "Where have you hunted this game before?" "Well, sir, once in Yellowstone, where I did catch my quarry, and I have hunted this one before too, and I almost got him." "You got one up in Yellowstone? And hunted the one down here?" "One. The one down here? You are so lucky to be alive then, boy. 'Cause you didn't hunt one here." "I'm pretty sure it did, sir." "There ain't one here, you damn fool. There's a whole pack." "A pack, I say, surprised. How many? 10? Maybe 12? Why do you think this town isn't here anymore?" "One. Did you live here back in 48? "I was young. My daddy was born here." "Of course. They weren't back there then. When them loggers started cutting to widen them paths for hikers and clearing the forest trails and decided to make this one of their national forests. Little Golden Pond just wasn't needed anymore." "Why did you stay?" "The wolf wares. The ones that killed my grandpappy. I aim to get them for it." "Oh, you mean the werewolves, don't you, sir?" I say as a chuckle. "No, wolf wares, young man. A werewolf is a man that turns into a wolf. A wolf were is a wolf that turns into a man. Only they hate man, so they turn into those standing wolves. Everyone always said silver would kill them. Well, it don't, even if you could hit one. Silver bullets don't fly very true. That Lone Ranger fellow was wrong, I think to myself. I know silver doesn't kill a werewolf. That's only a wives' tale, but it doesn't allow their wound to heal very easily. Then, how'd you kill them, old man?" "Well, come on over here, son, and I'll show you." He takes me to a table and laid out as a bullet-making material. I experimented with silver rounds, but the metal is just too hard to rifle down the barrel too well. So your aim is off. I think back to what I'd figured out about hard versus soft. So I tried a few variations. In California, they're experimenting with copper rounds, and they have proven dead accurate. I nod. I still wanted to try add silver, wives' tale and all. I tried silver nitrate, weighed the bullet off, and really no effect. But then, I tried this. 2 or 3 drops of this into a hollow point, copper bullet, a touch of sealing wax. Here, shoot that target with my 45. There is a can set up about 20 yards away. I aim and fire. The second a round impacts the can, it explodes. No more can. That's amazing, sir. Can you do that with a 308? I think so. He goes about resetting his equipment for a 308. He's using copper in a round. He asks me again what grain I want. 180, I tell him. He measures out the powder, then takes the copper bullet and puts it in the drill press to make a hollow point out of it. Then he applies the quicksilver or mercury to the hollow point and drops the wax on it. In a few minutes, I am standing in front of a 100-yard target. The old man says, "Try it." I fired a round and again the target explodes on impact. I think to myself, I may just have evened the odds with this new weapon. The next morning, Lou and I head out. I have 20 of the new rounds on my rifle and 5 in my 50 cal revolver. After what the old man told me, the Dogmen had become upset when they started to deforest the park. A pack to deal with. And that means I have an alpha to deal with also. And that's always dangerous, even for me. Well, before I enter the wood, I call for a few favours. I'm going to meet with Mr. Lawrence in Candon. He's the county commissioner and one of the 2 people responsible for logging. I am interested in seeing the records and seeing the logging sites, unless I miss my guess. There will be a connection with that and the attacks. Also, I want to find out if this man knows more than he's telling people. More than likely, he's stirred up his hornet's nest and is standing back while people get stung. I meet with Mr. Lawrence and I told him about the process of clearing trails and campsites for the tourists to pump in the revenue. I ask about the missing and the attacks. I am told Eastern Puma. I'm told that this range is one of the last sites for the Eastern Puma, and they are very aggressive and territorial. I say that I have found wolf tracks, very large ones, and he starts to stammer, and he assures me that they do not have a wolf problem, and they post the areas that it's safe to camp in. The areas that they allow hunting, fishing, and deep hiking, it cannot always be patrolled, so people are advised to look on to their own safety. Surely, Mr. Johnson has hunted. You do know that bears can be very dangerous, and people that get too close tend to get hurt. Even you, Mr. Johnson, are not immune to getting hurt. I smile, as I notice the emphasis on me getting hurt. I'm pretty at home in the woods, Mr. Lawrence. I'm not worried about getting hurt, as I pat Lou on the head. Lou and I have tracked wolves, bears, cougars, and other things without incident. Sure you wouldn't like to accompany us on this outing? You can check out your sites. Oh, no thank you, Mr. Johnson. Just as I expected. We head back and I'm fuming. It's like I've said 50 times and over. These are not the monsters. Man is the monster. First Tony just wanted to fit in and be left alone. Next, the Bigfoot wanted to be left alone. And those Marines were the monsters. Then the skinwalkers, a man received the power to become a monster. And it was a man that summoned a satyr. This will be no different. The Dogman pack was placed in this situation to protect their territory from man. I think most likely if the alpha is this aggressive, I may have to kill it or die trying myself. And it will be all that guy's fault. Oh well, it is what it is. This time, I don't allow myself to daydream. My senses are turned on and tuned in. I hear every little sound and catch every small moment. My life and the life of my brothers may depend on. I think about the old man that I meet making the ammunition. He said he boards himself up at night. These seem to be completely nocturnal. Tony isn't nocturnal. Or did I just change his habits? Lou and I moved through the forest with ease. And we stop around 4. We were setting up, and if these creatures are more active at night, I don't want to be in a deep sleep in the dark. Cold camp and no fire. I sleep about 6 hours and I'm up and moving. I brought something special, but I debate using it. We find a game trail. Night vision goggles illuminate the forest. We're not the only ones out here hunting. I smell the scent, and so does Lou. I find myself wishing Dawn and Tony were out here with us. My version of Beauty and the Beast, his strength and her, well, beauty and brains, will be welcome right now. Movement off to the left. It's big but quiet, and I know the smell. As it marks its territory, I know that smell well. Get off the trail, boy, and we fade into the woods. I take out a flask. I collect it back at Yellowstone. I hope that this works. I dump a portion of the container on Lou and I. Gag! This stuff absolutely stinks. It's terrible. But if it covers our scent, it'll be worth it. After that, we move on again to the other side of the trail. 4, 5, no 6 dogmen then break from the cover. The leader is huge. Absolutely monstrous. He's easily 2 feet taller than Tony, and he's sniffing around. All of a sudden, I get this cold feeling creep over me. He's hunting me. I have my rifle at the ready. They are looking for my trail but can't track it. The trick must have worked. They can't pick up my scent. Except on a smaller or younger dogman seems to be looking in my direction. And now, he's looking right at me. Our eyes lock. I ready my rifle. One of the bigger dogmen comes toward him and spins around, lashing him with the claws. The smaller dogman, I'm guessing an Omega, is being punished for not following the Alpha's lead. Dissension in the pack is good to know. They run off down the trail toward my camp. Yep, They're hunting me. Let's go the other way, boy. Let's find their lair. Daybreak is in a couple of hours. We need to find the mouth of the cave. I remember what I first said about these creatures. They are messy eaters, and they are. And they are not wolves. No self-respecting wolf would leave trash like this in front of their lair. Wolf lairs are clean. They are only used to raise pups in. The rest of the pack rarely enter them. The alpha female births her pups, and the rest of the pack bring her food. And then the nannies clean it up. Almost like the wolves know that the decaying flesh and bones isn't good to be around the kids. I don't know how long I have to explore this out. I will, and I go. Damn it, I'm not alone. And Nanny comes in from behind a rock. Lou and I duck into the caves. Our scent is still masked. Nanny looks around. The alpha female comes out with 2 pups. Lou and I are hidden for now, but this isn't a good place to hide. Remember what I said about the way wolves keep their lair? Well, this is definitely the maid's day off. Either that or they ate her. The rest of the pack will be returning any minute now. I have literally been between a rock and a hard place. The 2 females go farther back into the cave and I see our chance. We hot-footed out of the cave there, and in the nick of time, we're adjusting and over the brush cover when the pack returns. One is carrying a deer carcass. The alpha is carrying what looks like a human body in ranger uniform. Damn! I'm going to have to take pleasure in killing that SOB. 2 guards are left out and 1 beta, and that same Omega did it see me. The beta is asleep and the Omega is on patrol. He sniffs the air and comes towards my hiding place. I have used the last of Tony's piss to mask our scent, but this Omega has a good nose. He moves through the brush towards me. I know the fight will not be silent. Damn! I'm as good as dead unless these new rounds work like I think they will. I don't want to kill the entire pack. The Omega steps in front of me, teeth showing in a full snarl. I level my rifle. It doesn't attack. Lou and I back up slowly, but the DM doesn't make any move towards us. Then the unexpected happens. He points to my rifle, then points back to the cave, and then makes a mimic of an old man. Son of a bitch, he wants me to kill the alpha, and I think the pack is going to go after the old man tonight. He looks at me and turns to run back to the cave entrance. He gets back in time to run into a very angry alpha that has come out, who slashes his claws across his face in a show of dominance. Lou and I sneak away as quiet as possible, and on full run ahead back towards Golden Pond. I tell the old man that tonight there will be trouble, that he will be attacked by the pack. The old man laughs and said, yeah, they've tried that before, and they haven't got in yet. Well, I tell him their leader has worked them up. Then let's get ready to fight, son. There are hardly any buildings standing anymore. Most of it's been knocked down. The old man boards himself up and asks if I want in. No, I'm better outside, thank you. So I find me and Lou a place to wait this out. Not long after nightfall, it happens. There are at least 12 of them out there. 2 of the DMs rush the door and are greeted by a shotgun blast. They retreat. I remember though the old man doesn't have a high-powered rifle. 2 larger DMs are moving to the side of the house, now flanking the door. Damn, these creatures are so smart. They're using something to get purchase of the door, as they pry it out and then grab hold of the edges. One howls in pain as he pulls back a nub of a fist. The big beta on the other side jerks open the door hinges and reaches for the old man. The alpha steps out, and I have a decision to make. I hope this works, and a fire hitting the big dogman in the back. Boom! The bullet explodes, and the dogman crumples to the ground. Still alive, but his back legs don't seem to work. All right! I shout as I watch the old man fire his 45 into the beta's face, also causing the explosion. This time, he doesn't move though. I take quick aim at the beta, but it's pointed at me and sent 2 DMs heading my way. I change my target, and I hit the other one in the chest 2 times. He drops to the ground in a heap. Lou is growling as the next one steps out from behind me. Lou sinks his fangs into the thing's throat. As a 3rd dogman I didn't see reaches out and grabs me. My eyes stare as I'm lifted into the air. The dogman lowers me back to the ground, turns and bites the neck out of the one that's wrestling with Lou. He slumps over dead. Lou and I both look at the dogman as he points to my rifle and then points to the alpha, turns and runs off. I look up and the alpha has the old man in his grip, jaws open wide. My next round takes the alpha in the back, but no explosion. But he does drop the old man, and at least I see he's still alive. The Alpha charges me. I fire again and again, and I take him right into the lungs. Again, no explosion. Damn my luck. Lou hits him solid. He's learned how to fight these things. I pull my kukris and go in to help Lou. The old man yells, "Step back!" And we do, and he fires that 45 again. His explodes with a solid force, and the Dogman sprints off. I retrieve my rifle and give chase. I'm glad I had the stamina. Lou and I chase this thing all night long, and he's headed for his lair. He reaches his lair just ahead of us. These things are fast as hell. We get there just in time to see the conclusion. He stands in front of the Omega that will not allow him to enter. He's too beat up to fight his way in. He begins to run away, and he doesn't get far, as another round hits him in the base of the skull. This one explodes. He doesn't move again. I leave and I make my way back to the old man's place. There are no dead monsters around. The old man is fine, and tells me they carried off their dead. I tell him I don't think that you may be bothered again. We say our goodbyes and I leave. I spend a restful 2 nights in the forest wondering what is accomplished. I killed a problem animal. My job? Though he was most likely driven mad by the people invading his territory. After day 2, I make my way back to the Dogman den. There is a world of difference. The outside is cleaned up, and it looks like a normal den site now. At least, I hope this is over with. Phew, boy. I'm tired. Let's go home, eh? Yeah, come on. I think big teeth and big claws versus big gun and expert shot. This time, the gun won. And there's no question of just what is the scariest thing in the woods. First, the US Marine Corps. Now the US Department of Interior. Are you trying to start a war with the government? A government that, I remind you, pays your salary. I know, Tom. I just can't stand this cover-up crap. There's no more to it. Son, tell me the truth. What did you find out there? I can't say yet, even if your job depends on it. And does it? No, but they're talking about you just being a ranger. No hunting, no federal marshal, and putting you in a small park away from any action. I would quit. You know that, and they know that. At least if I stay here, then you can keep tabs on me. I told him that too. Tom, please, don't make me say more now. But I will tell you this. I have written a journal. It's in my foot locker at the station. It has everything that's happened in the last few days written in it. If I don't come home from one of these hunts, please read it. It will tell you everything I have learned since my first trip to Kentucky. I leave the office and go to the station that I might as well call home. Seems kind of empty without Dawn here. Lou and I relax, and Tony comes loping up. I rub his head. You must save this boy. I try to fathom what would happen if I'd moved to South. Lou's coat wouldn't like that. He's like me, he's built for the cold weather. And Tony now, that would be a problem. I am broken from my thoughts when the satellite phone begins to ring. I pick it up. Yes, this is Jim. Oh, howdy. Yeah, Steve, what's up, bro? It's Steve Smith, one of Bill's researchers. What do you mean you can't find him? He left here about 3 weeks ago. Said he was heading to Texas to check on some aggressive Bigfoot down there. Okay, calm down. Yeah, okay. Calm down, I'll head down there ASAP. Okay, keep me posted on the loop, yeah? I need to head to Texas. Tom is not going to like this. I was right. He didn't. This is leave without pay, and going on my record. Like I care about that. I'm afraid for Bill too. He told me some scary stuff is in that area. And I'm about to play right into it. The thing is though, the thing that worries me the most is if I keep this up, I may turn Tom into the scariest thing in the woods. The Scariest Thing in the Woods. Chapter 6. What I'm taught. Let's get straight into that. Heading to Texas isn't an easy task. Once you get there, you realise that you're only halfway there. I only state I know that you drive for 5 hours too, and still have another 5 to go to get to any city that you want to get to. I have driven straight through 1,000 miles, and Lou is in the back. Texas is finally in sight. I smell the Texas brisket on the barbecue, and I can't stop though. I'm almost to Angelina National Forest. I finally get to the place where the search parties are based. Bacon Springs. This is a beautiful forest with about 200,000 square miles of woodland. You put this together with the rest of the beautiful area, and the big thicket area itself, you're talking over 1 million square miles of piney woods. Here, when the people get lost, they never find any trace of them again. I stop and talk with a couple of the local rangers, a US Marshal. I walk up. Steve greets me as I do the rangers. Strange though, the Marshal gives me a long, disapproving look. I ignore it and tell Steve to fill me in on what I need to get and where I need to get to ASAP. Steve tells me this is the second hunt for a young boy that went missing, and Bill was part of the original party to look for him. Now he's missing. Steve asks me, "Where's that wolf of yours anyway? His nose might help a lot right now." Lou has been resting in the back. He's still banged up, but wanted to come anyway. Steve's not the only one to think about Lou's keen nose. I call Lou and he jumps out of the truck. Yes, I removed the wreck that Tony made of the topper. Lou gets the usual reactions from anyone that has never seen him before. We go to Bill's tent and Lou sniffs around until he has a solid scent track. We leave the tent and move to the edge of the woods. A young couple come up and Steve and the rangers asking if there was any news. Steve tells them not just yet and introduces me, Mr. and Mrs. Watson. This is Ranger Jim Johnson from Yellowstone. He's one of the best tracers and rescue people in the world. The woman yells, "You're going to find my boy, my Brian." "No, ma'am, he's not," interjects the Marshal before I can even speak. "He's going in to find his friend. He has not even asked about your son." I stare in disbelief at the Marshal. Before the witness's tears cry out, "You're not here for my son. You're only here for your friend." And she breaks down crying, falling to her knees. Her husband then steps up, and in a threatening posture, like he's going to strike me, before he backs away as Lou steps up growling. I again see in disbelief, as the Marshal then starts to pull his Glock 22. I shout out, "Calm down, people. I'm going to find the boy. And Brian, and anyone else that's out there." I then look directly at the Marshal and tell him, "If you pull that weapon at my dog, I will kill you on the spot." Threatening a federal officer is assault, and since you're armed... "Would you please shut up?" Mrs. Watson yells. "Just find my son, please." "Ma'am, please, do you have anything that Lou can sniff? We need to get started." She then produces a ball cap. Lou takes a long smell of the cap. I excuse myself to talk to Steve before we get out there. "You look tired, Jim. Did you drive straight through from Yellowstone?" "Yes, I did. I'm pretty tired. I went through hell before at the LBL. What's with that, Marshal? Has he got something to prove or what?" I honestly don't know. He just showed up this morning and started acting like he's in charge." "Okay. What are you and Bill here for? And this isn't your cup of tea? Is there a Bigfoot or Dogman sighting in the area I have to worry about?" "Oh yeah. This is a hotspot for them. Most of the thicket is. Even David Crockett has an account of seeing one back in the 1800s when he came to Texas." "All right, Steve. Well, with that said, I'm heading out. I will not be back until I find them." I say my regards to the husband and wife, and we wish each other luck, and Lou and I take off. I would like to say it was an easy task to get into the forest, but it wasn't. That fool of a Marshal was waiting for me at the tree line. He declares that he's going in to accompany me. I laugh. "There is no way in hell you're coming in there with me. You couldn't keep up, much less. I don't need you, and I don't want you." "I'm going in with you, or else." "Or else what? You're damn lucky that the Watsons were there, standing with you. Or when you pulled that gun, I would have had Lou take your arm off, and trust me, he can do it." Hell. I hit him square on the jaw and he crumples to the ground, like wet linen. Lou and I enter the forest, and we're well into it before he gets up. He will be a fool if he follows us, and part of me hopes so. I would love to educate him in the ways of the deep forest, and show him, what the scariest thing in the woods really is. I think to myself, I really shouldn't have done that, but it felt so good. But I'm just digging my hole deeper. The beauty of this forest soon relieves my tension, as I allow the magic of the greenwood to relax me. I had forgotten on what this forest looks like. I haven't been here for so many years. I know I'm not far from the Louisiana border, which puts me so close to my father. I push that out of my head and focus on the task at hand. I had seen the maps that the rangers were using for their search patterns. Lou is leading me away from that area. He doesn't have a huge scent, but he's moving fast, in an eastern direction, towards the river. If they went to water, we will have trouble picking up their scent. I've been awake now for more than 48 hours, and endurance has its limits. And Lou is hurting. We are almost to the Natchez River and Lake San Rayburn. Why, we have to sleep, boy. We'll catch the trail tomorrow. I cold camp and only put the blankets and nestle down next to Lou. I am no sooner asleep than the dreams come true. In the dream, Dawn's speaking to me. I smell that sweet smell. I'm so hungry. She tells me your friend is alive. As is the boy, they are together. They were taken by the elders of this forest, are in a safe place for the time being. But you will face danger if you try to rescue them. They are watched, and you are watched. You are watched by more than the elders of the forest. The great evil I spoke of south knows you are here, and makes plans to stop you. Remember what you have learned. Remember what you have been taught. Your mind is your greatest weapon in this. Strength and weapons will not help you. I have spoken to the Ancient One in the north. He knows you and respects you, and will also help you when he can. The evil to the north is moving. You must be wary of him. You must face him soon. The forest hides him, but doesn't actually. And an evil spirit that will seek to devour you. He is not as dangerous as the south, and the evil to the south wishes to consume you. And, if you do not use the lessons you have learned, he will consume you. I don't understand devoured. And are they not the same thing? Consumed and devoured? One wants to eat me, and one wants to consume me. It's the same. It's the same. It's the same. Suddenly, the dream changes. Dawn is running through the woods. The smell of that delicious smell, her flesh so soft and tender. Her fear makes it all the more inspiring. She's fast, but not as fast as I. I easily trip her, and she goes down and my fangs sink into her throat. The fresh hot blood covers my muscle. I revel in it. I revel in the kill, the satisfaction, and my hunger is suppressed. I awake and I could not eat. I understand. Lou is next to me licking my face, trying to calm me down. I understand, boy, I understand. And my father knows I am here. We have changed our direction now to the northwest, keeping a lake on my right-hand side. There is little traffic on the lake. It is almost November. I guess even Texans get cold sometimes. We move away from the lake deeper into the forest. I have the feeling I am being watched. I notice a shadow. There in the tree line. It's too large to be anything man-size, so I guess one of us has found the other. I remember what Dawn said in the dream. Remember what you have been taught. Remember what you have learned. I act like I don't notice. And set up camp. I relax in my hammock with Lou by my side. On a rock about 60 feet away, I place a plastic container out that had some rhubarb that I'd picked. I nestle down to sleep. Then a few hours later, Lou stirs. A soft growl forms within him. Tells me the bait has been seen. Quite good, boy. It's all part of the plan. Now go back to sleep. I awaken and then, seeing nothing. To see the rhubarb is gone. I go to the rock and sit on it, taking the last of my rhubarb and placing it in front of me. I left my weapons behind. Not long after that, a large, I would say around 9 feet, Bigfoot steps out. Stay calm, Jim, I say to myself. He walks over to the rhubarb and then picks it up and points to me. Then points back to the woods. I understand. I get up and start to follow. He stops me with a motion of his hand and points to my weapons, and that I should bring them. No argument, I merely pick them up and follow him through the woods. I understand why these stay hidden for so long. I'm good in the woods, and I can make a trail most anywhere, but these things move through so fast and undetectable. It's amazing. We hike to the better part of 10 miles, to the perfect clearing. You could literally not find a better place. 10 feet in either direction, you'd miss it. And with the canopy above us, you could never be seen by the air. The one that led me here presents the rhubarb to a very large, like 12 feet tall, I think female. She then accepts it and gives me a slight nod.
Woman, you are not welcome here.
I hear a booming voice in my head.
But I will tolerate it, for the moment.
I say and think back to her. I am sorry for invading your home. I seek only my friend and a small child. And I hope you understand me.
I understand you, human. And only I can call you that, for that is what you wish to be called. The Ancient One has told me that we are to be friend to you. And to show proof of this, I took the small one and Old One captive. No harm has befallen them, yet.
I am grateful for that, your kindness, Elder of the Forest.
Do not use your colourful word on me. I do not like you, and your kind. I said I would tolerate you, only because I was told to.
I apologise to the Elder, and I bow. Who else knows of your presence here? How could anyone Elder know? My question hangs in my throat as two large dogmen step from behind a wooden structure. I thought Tony was big. These make him look like a puppy. I'm guessing this is a trial by combat. Lou was fighting with one of these things, just like before, and before that, he was kept over by the vet. What I've learned, and what I've been taught. Our audience seems to be melting away. Lou and I are standing yards away from two large and grotesque dogmen. I look at them hard. The dog in Lou is ready to fight. He knows he's hurt, but he will die if he needs to in this fight. I can't let that happen. I must keep them focused on me. One is eyeing Lou though, and I pull my .50 cal Smith & Wesson. It hits that one square in the chest. No explosion. Damn experiments. I fire a couple more rounds, and he's hurt, but he didn't shake that hit off like Tony shook it off with the .45. The second one leaps at me, claws and teeth. I barely manage to get out of the way and dodge him. I pull my trigger again, misfire. I curse again, dropping the sidearm and pulling my blades. My only hope is to severely hurt the first one, and hope that I make enough effort so that Lou had a chance. I leap with all my strength at the wounded one as he circles me again towards Lou. I slice into his leg. Again, he's hurt, but hardly out of the fight. Where's the other one? I find out as I feel claws rake across my back. Lou hits him on full charge and finds himself at its throat. Like I said before, that's the wolf in him. That wolf is smart, and he has learned how to fight Dogman without taking too much damage. The wounded one now has me, trying to bite into my neck. I was once told to fight like a dog, like you would fight a man. I roll and hit it in the throat with as much power as I can muster, and back it goes. I'm up, and I'm swinging in an instant. I miss for the most part, but at least that thing is now short of an ear. I glance to the side and see the dogman that Lou has broken Lou's grip and rolled him over, and about to rip out his throat. I throw my cooker as hard as I can and catch the dogman in the shoulder. It penetrates, but not too deep, but it gives Lou the chance to break free and out of its jaws. I don't have time to think. We are not winning. Lou is getting weaker. I wonder about my own mortality. What did I say about not having the time to think about that? Well, that moment cost me and my dog almost. Another solid swipe of my clawed hand across my chest sends me reeling. When I regain to my feet, I see the dogman, with my blade in its back raised to its full height, letting out a triumphant howl. He has Lou in his jaws, and his claws ready to make a killing bite.
Enough!
I shout with the force of a hurricane. Both animals pause. I feel my muscles tighten. I can feel my stare from my red eyes flash. I can't see them, but I know they are no longer green. They are glowing amber. I am about ready done with this and ready to challenge them. Right now I am changing into the very being of these lesser wolves. The dogman that has Lou in his grip releases him. Lou takes no time in taking a position behind me. Both dogmen pause. Then the one that had Lou charges at me. I swat him away as if he were a puppy. I feel my clothes tighten and my body increases its mass. I release a feral growl that causes both to back up. The more wounded one of the two even wets himself, and I let out a howl that can be heard for miles. A picture of a maiden enters my head and says simply, "Remember what you were taught. Remember what you know." Both dogmen are now cowering. I feel the changes happening as I hear a whimper. Not a simpering whimper, but like the dogs in front of me that will die soon. They are now two voices in my head. One is telling me to kill them, for they are nothing but mongrel soldiers. The other voice is sweet and telling me to remember what I was taught. It's Lou getting my attention. He's brought me a leather ball. Foolish dog. It's not time to play, it's time to kill. I now hear two more beating hearts, and the smell is so tasty. The dog again is trying to give me a ball. The sweet voice again tells me to pick up the ball, and I can't help but listen. The smell is so calming, relaxing. I then feel my body shrinking, and the voice disappears, and I only hear the sweet calm voice of Dawn. I look at the two dogmen.
Return to your master and tell him, I am not to be trifled with.
They slink off. I remember the old woman now, with the sage, telling me that the sage helps me heal, but it also keeps me in control. Moments later, I see Bill and Brian are being held. They're both just up to greet me. I hear the voice in my head again.
You truly are the protector of the forest, as the Ancient One rides within us, and we will help you when we can. The boy will lose memory of this place, as a gift to you. Please, keep this.
The faster way out of this to make for the lake. It's only a few miles, thank God. I'm so tired. I don't know how much longer I can even stand. Talk about luck. There is a chopper over the lake. I signal it, and we head back to what man calls civilization. I think I can sleep for a week, but I know I had better get back to Yellowstone. I don't know how long I can keep this up. That family is all hugs and kisses and thank yous for bringing their son home, who strangely can't remember anything at all. The marshal is still around, who begrudgingly tells me, "Good job, Bill. I don't care. I'm going to go get a drink and sleep tonight. You want to join me?" As we head back to Lufkin, I try to raise Tom on my satellite phone, but for some reason it isn't working. I've never seen that before. It will keep, I decide. I'm happy. I saved my friend and a young boy, and I kept myself under control and learned some valuable info. One bad thing I realise, though, is I might really be the scariest thing in the woods. Bill, Steve and I find a bar in Lufkin, and of course Lou is with us. We find a quiet table and get a bite to eat and some Jack Daniels. We think about what happened. Of course, I leave out the part about me in the end. Bill states he had heard a ear-splitting howl. I say I heard it too. No clue what it was, though. Steve is insistent about how I defeated two dogmen. I show him a couple rounds, and if there hadn't been any misfire, then the fight would have lasted for a lot less, if at all. I tell him I need to go see if I can get them professionally made. If they work right, they can knock down anything. Bill is much more interested in how we communicated. I tell him I heard the voice in my head, was all I could tell him. I said they communicated with him the same way, and that he had heard they were telepathic. The night drags on. I'm not drinking very much. Something in my head says, keep my wits about me. Bill and Steve excuse themselves, saying, "Jim, we know you like to sleep outside, but old men like us need a bed and blankets, so we're going to go find a motel." My friends leave, and there's one more drink in a bottle. I pour it into my glass. "Well, old dog, just you and me, and after this last drink, we're going to go find our bed ourselves." Then I smell it. The scent, his smell, like a ton of bricks. It isn't like Dawn's. She smells sweet. This isn't sweet. It's pheromones. I look around, and I see her in the shadows. A beautiful woman, long dark black hair, perfect body, and a grace that defies human movement. I approach her. "May I offer you a cognac?" "Bonsoir, Michel. No, thank you. I have my own." Such a barbaric drink, little more than swill. Pour it in the toilet where it belongs. This cognac is from your father's private cellar. I want nothing from my father. I want nothing from you. Now why are you here? Lou's hackles start to raise. "Oh, what a lovely chien. But he must learn his place." Her eyes flash golden yellow. Much to his credit, Lou stands his ground. "Ho ho, so brave and loyal too." Again, Michelle. "What do you want?" "I want you, of course. Are you not my fiancée?" "No, I am not. That is long over. You can tell that to my father." And she pouts. "Very well, James Dahoo, but we will meet again." She gets up and leaves, and I watch her walk out into the night. I know her, and her anger. She doesn't like rejection, for all of her beauty. She will be the scariest thing in the woods tonight. Fantastic stuff as always. As ever, please do let us know down below in the comments what you thought. Please do like and share. Don't forget to hashtag Team Fear. Don't forget, if you have a true or fictional story to share with us all here at DMT Forest of Fear, please do get that over to me by email at the address below, DMT forestoffear@gmail.com. And as ever, guys, remember, if you're going camping or hiking for the weekend, make sure you take all the necessary protective measures and do a little bit of history on the lay of the land. And above all, remember, be safe, not sorry.